they'll jump in if they can. Oh, because it's
Yay!
you initiated it, I can't do it.
I think I
Oh,
did. I'm pretty sure. I
okay,
can't even see how to see who I invited at this point.
okay.
Um,
Well, there's a lot of people invited, so we'll see. I can't click on the invite because it's your broadcast, so that's okay. I
okay.
see
Well,
who jumped
I'm
in.
pretty sure that I invited your people. Have your people call my people.
And don't forget, anyone who comes in, you're automatically on mute when you pop in. So before you speak, unclick your mute button.
That is an excellent feature, and I approve.
Yeah. I
Awesome.
I've been
Okay,
doing live broadcast
so
for ages.
okay. Yay, Sarah, you fixed it. No? She, she's just gonna grin. Okay, so you guys can put questions in the Q&A, or we can just kind of go back and forth because you're all on mute right now, which is making me feel very
I
in the
just do it
limelight.
automatically when I'm not speaking, so that we're having a thunderstorm, and it might cause some keep on popping over to me every time it thunders.
Okay. Well, since Ava is obviously on the mark and excited to do this, let's start with you, and I'm going to put you on the spot. But you have to unmute your mic first. I did Ava's first critique today, and I had her in tears. So I'm going to be more gentle with you this time.
Okay.
So, so let's go away from the art side and let's talk a little bit about business and marketing and some of the problems that you're having or questions that you have or nothing's off limits.
Well, actually, that question that you had posed to me earlier about whether or not I wanted to do like you were my fairy godmother and what my ideal situation would be, and then I had said gallery, and then you had asked me about if I had considered an art agent or a salesperson, an assistant. And you put all those things forward, and my husband and I were just talking about it when you said the 5 questions, and we were thinking that it is kind of silly for me to try and lock myself down to one building or gallery as if they're going to save me, as opposed to just trying to do it myself, especially when I was thinking about something else that you said, where in order to get sponsors or people or whatever to help you, that you have to go to them with the idea of how can I help you, not how can you help me.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, most galleries and agents and people and whatnot they won't even look at you until you're already at the point where you're profitable, because then they know that you'll be profitable for them because you'll be profitable on your own. So if I have to climb that wall myself, then why am I trying to do something before I'm able to do it? So I've decided that it's probably not best for me to go after trying to get gallery representation at this time and kind of do it on my own. But now I don't know how to do that either. So I'm
Okay,
kind of back where I
so
started.
um so let's talk about it in terms of a traditional gallery. How many images were the galleries that you were looking at? How many prints did they want you to provide if they were going to pick you up?
It didn't even get that far. They just had me bring in a portfolio. A portfolio is normally 20 images. Come here so you can say goodbye. Sorry, my husband is saying goodbye for work, and he won't come
Hi.
because my camera is on and he doesn't want to be seen on the camera. I love you, baby. So anyway, I had to show him a portfolio of 20 images, and
Uh-huh.
some of them wanted just the images like in an actual portfolio, hand carried portfolio, and others wanted to see the final prints. So I had to like print them out and bring them to him. Um, and basically, uh, the places that didn't just look at them and go, okay, we'll let you know, they the feedback that they gave me didn't tell me anything about my work, like what I could if I should consider resubmitting, or if I should change some things out of my portfolio, or even nothing other than you don't suit the type of clients that we have. And looking around at the work that they gave, which is something that I did before I would even apply anywhere, it looked like their work did serve the people that I would be trying to connect to, so I was kind of confused there.
Well, just because you think that your work is in line with them doesn't necessarily mean that they think that they can sell your work. That can be two totally different things. And we were discussing that during your critique today, that your work is very, very potent, which is good. So it means people love it or they hate it. So whoever was running that gallery may have been the latter. Which I'm still okay with, because that means that nobody's feeling neutral to it, which means it isn't getting ignored. However, if you're finding that you're having a really tough time getting into galleries, but you really want to sell prints and that is your medium and that is your dream, then just don't go to a gallery. What is a gallery? A gallery is a building. What are they doing? They're selling for you. So really, at that point, if you take those things and you break them down, you can rent any building that you think has the kind of ambiance that you would like to have your prints in, and you can hire a very reputable sales rep or art agent or somebody else that can still do all kinds of stuff. You could also look into publicists. You could look into, even other agencies like literary agents and people that work with authors. Like, they all have a lot of contacts in different things. So I wouldn't be afraid to go outside the box. I would also be looking into shops around you that do prints or framing and stuff like that, that are like designated print shops, because they probably have a lot of connections for you as far as people to network with. If you're looking to get your work on walls, I would also be going around to local coffee shops and little, little dive restaurants and diners and stuff like that. And I would go through and I would actually rank your work because of the subject matter, so that it's on like a least likely to offend to most likely to get kicked out of the place. That's your spectrum. And I would start with the first couple of images and kind of ease them into it. Unfortunately, I do think that the more you go to the more intense side, the more likely it is to actually be a purchased piece, just because of the visceral thing, because the people that do love it are going to love it. So I would go, and what I would do is I would look up 20 different places that already exist, and I'm sure you can think of a couple off the top of your head that you walk in and they already have the artwork up on the walls. Coffee shops are great for this, little bookstores are great for this, little restaurants are great for this. Go look around and see what you can find. And then what I would do is I would get online and I would do some research for venues and consider hosting your own gallery show at a venue of your choice. Now, the tough part about that is going to be the display, because a lot of these places will not let you hang things on walls or put holes in their walls, but you could also look into standing easels, depending on how big you wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And there's all kinds of other creative ways you can, just Google and YouTube, like, non-destructive wall hangings for pictures and stuff like that, and start putting the form together. That way you have all the answers to the questions they're going to bring up before they bring them up. But let's say you were going to look to a gallery, and a gallery was going to pick you up, and they were going to make a 50% commission off of everything you were going to charge. And for the sake of I suck at math, we'll say you were going to sell every single painting for $100. So if you had 10 paintings, instead of making $1,000, you're only making $500 because they're getting half of it, right?
Yeah.
So if in comparison you're renting out this big beautiful room, for $250, and then you're paying another $100 for a publicist or an underwriter or a sales rep with a lot of experience to help get the name out there and the event out there to sell, then you're actually still going to make way more profit, because you're making the full $1,000 now, not the $500. And it's actually easier because you know what you have to make in order to break even. So you have like a very set overhead. Whereas the gallery is just taking a percentage of everything you make, whether you sell one painting or sell 10 paintings. This one you can look at and say, okay, my expenses are going to be $500. I'm going to sell each of my prints at $250. So I only have to sell 2 prints this weekend in order to break even. Everything else on top of that is profit. And just expect the first time that you do it that you're going to be really lucky if you break even, because it's a learning process. But don't let somebody shut the door in your face and then go, oh, well, I guess that's done. It's not going to work. Like, that's bullshit. You know?
Okay, well, my question then is, everything that you're saying there's a cost to it. And unlike most of the photographers, at least so far that I know in our cohort, that are doing photography professionally, I'm a full-time student, and my photography makes $400 a year. I get $400 from stock photography that I did like 6 years ago on Fotolia, and I pay my studio fees and my website fees and everything that I do. I pay on that $400 because everything else is disability.
Tell me about your studio.
Yeah.
Tell me about your studio. What's your studio like?
It's 800 square feet. It has I share it with 3 other photographers. We have black, white, and gray backdrops. We have all sorts of lights to switch out, and we have a dressing room. And
you guys share. How do you deviate the days? Do you have set days, or it's just on a who books it basis?
We have a group on Google Calendar, and whoever books the day first gets it.
So what I'm hearing is you're already investing in a space that has walls to hang portraits on and prints.
That no one sees inside.
Okay. Wouldn't they see inside if you invited them in?
It's not like that. The studio space it's like a warehouse that was just converted into studio spaces for people to work. And it's completely brick. There's nothing that, like, nobody walks through there on a regular basis to do any type of shopping or anything.
Do you think they would if you sent them an invitation to come walk through and purchase something? If you built an event and invited everybody on your mailing list and got all of your friends to invite their friends, and if you contacted some of the organizations that your images would be potent with and had all of them invite their people and had a 2-day event, do you think maybe then they would come in?
Honestly?
Yes.
Actually, I would honestly say no, because everybody that I know lives 6 hours away from me. Remember, I just moved.
There's nobody within 6 hours of your studio. Then you need to go give your notice that you will no longer be running this studio, because that's part of your problem.
Well, that's the reason why I said that I was doing the trade shoots, to try and network with the models and artists and whatnot in the community to kind of get known and kind of spread out. So, but I mean, I just started doing that because I've kind of been at home with the baby the whole time.
So there are artists and there are people nearby. This isn't like a brick building in the middle of a forest 6 hours from nowhere at the bottom of a cliff. You're exaggerating just a little. Is that what we're getting at?
No, there are a few people, I guess, yes.
Okay, so does it stand to reason that you could go to wherever your print lab is and you could get, say, 500 postcards done with one of your images, and on the back have an invitation to an event, and you could go pass them out and put them in people's mailboxes? How bad do you want this, Ava?
That's actually a really
I met your teenage
idea.
son. Yeah, I met your son. Go put him to work. Okay. Give him a stack of them and tell him that when all 500 of them are placed in mailboxes that he gets the new video game he wants. Or he just gets to live and you will feed him this month. I'm not above child labor at all.
Okay, so I mean that I could do. I know
Okay,
that
okay. No, because I hear you coming up with another excuse. Let's just stop on that and
oh
focus on
no,
that.
it
Okay. So
wasn't an excuse, I promise. I
don't
swear.
make me mute you. Don't make me mute you. So we're gonna have 500 postcards or little mini prints or brochures. They're gonna have your date and the time. You're gonna book your own studio that you are already investing on. So you're not spending any more money than you already put out anyway, as it is for 2 days. Then what you're going to do is you are going to go through your house and you're going to pick 3 best friends who owe you favors, and you're going to go through their house and you're going to pick everything pretty and amusing that you possibly can. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go look for a caterer. You're going to tell them that you're doing an art gallery event. You're going to network with them. You're going to have them offer you a great discount, and in exchange, they're going to be able to put up their marketing materials and their brochures and their businesses and cards and whatever else they want to do it as well, and you're going to have them serve just cocktails for it. People are going to come in, they're going to eat, they're going to drink, they're going to look at your beautiful artwork, you're going to hang them on the walls in these lovely frames, and you're going to do your own gallery show. Fuck every gallery that told you you couldn't show in it. Any questions?
Should I wait until they do the Woolworth Walk, which is 4 times a year at the studio space? Like,
Sure.
okay.
When's the next one?
Next in September.
September, which
So that's
means
a
you
month
have about
and-
7 weeks to put all this together. Sounds like plenty of time. Get on it, girlfriend.
Okay.
Okay, good. Next person. Joni. I think I did pull a... Oh, I have Danielle, too. I have so many of my people. I'm so excited. You have to take the mute off. I can't hear you.
So we were discussing earlier about putting prices on websites, and we were going to discuss it. What your thoughts on that was?
So this is one that I have a lot of people kind of weigh in on it, and they're on both sides of the spectrum. So I'd actually be really interested to hear what Ron and AD think about that as well. As far as I do, if you put up a price list, you allow people to menu shop. Which is, have you ever heard of that, right side menu shopping? So it's when you go to a really nice restaurant and you go, ooh, lobster, and then you go, well, maybe just chicken, because you see what the market price is that day. And so you start price shopping, which is what you don't want people to do. You want people to look and figure out what they want and then just sign a check for it. So I'm not necessarily a fan of putting a pricing list with just a rundown of everything you offer and what it costs. What I am a fan of is putting what I call a barrier to entry. So let's say you're just now starting to charge for your sessions. You feel like you have a good portfolio, and we were talking around like the $400 to $500 range. Well, what you don't want to do is you don't want to waste an hour of your time emailing back and forth or calling back and forth with somebody who thinks they're going to spend $100 on you. So if your people are coming in and they're spending, like my average client, I haven't had a client that has spent less than $2,000 on a session with me in the last 2 years. So whenever people write me, the first question you get is, how much would it cost to book a session with you? Because that's what they're being asked to part with, is money. So when they write me, I say it's a $500 investment to reserve the studio and my staff for the day. The average client invests between $1,500 and $3,500. You will not spend less than that, and you probably won't spend more than that. It gives them a range. So if they think that they're coming in and spending $250, I don't hear back from them. I don't waste my time, and I don't waste their time. I would recommend the same thing for you. You were saying it's like $99 is like the average by you or something? Or was that...
That was Sarah, yeah.
Okay, Sarah was going back and forth saying that.
Yeah, ours is probably $150 to $250 average. Yeah.
Okay, so even still at $150, if you're starting out at $400, you're still almost 3 times what the average is around you. And if they're doing any kind of shopping or comparison, they probably have it in their head that they're spending $150. So I would just state like a starting point or an average. Either our sessions start at $400, or if you're going to sell collections and it's going to start at $400, but you're hoping they're going to spend between $800 and $1,200, then I would say my average client spends between $800 and $1,200.
So I've only got basically 2 packages. I was reading that you kind of value, and then you could then link to your packages, or so what I've done at the moment is I've got all the content about what my thing is, my gallery, and then at the bottom there is a link to see the packages, to the prices of packages to that, and there's only 2 options of that anyway.
Okay. Again, I don't like the idea of you having just a pricing list on there, because it makes it too easy for them to focus solely on the money and then decide whether or not they want you only based on whether or not you're the cheapest option. And you never want to sell yourself as cheap. Hookers are cheap. Photography shouldn't be.
Ron wants to be picked.
I love this topic. I love people's buying behavior. I love observing how people make choices. And I've recently kind of done a revamp. There are no prices on my website currently because it's being rebuilt after a lost database, so that'll change. I totally agree that when we're offering a service like portraits or weddings or boudoir or something, you want to give a pre-qualifier, but you don't want to give away the store, because we're in the business of educating people. We're selling an experience more than we're selling a product. And so I don't do boudoir, but I do a lot of wedding and portrait event, and moving into like a couture style Victorian portraiture is kind of what I want to move into, which is kind of what it's been fascinating me about watching Jessica's work. But as far as pricing goes, you got to get to the conversation. The best thing to do is have a qualifier like prices starting at, or something that gets people to that phone call or that email contact where they're going to say, okay, so what are your packages? The first answer is naturally going to be, well, that really depends on what it is you need. And it launches you into that conversation. Because people only ask that question because they don't know what else to ask. They don't know what they don't know. And so I'm just completely agreeing with Jessica on this, is that there's not a right answer. Yes, put it on, don't put it on. But don't put on something that will confuse anybody. Don't try and make people make a decision based on your price. You can certainly pre-qualify people that are just shopping around, but you want to get to the conversation and let them know why you're the ultimate choice for them.
I agree.
And if I'm not good at talking on the phone, or
it would be a good idea to role play and get some scripts. Seriously, absolutely. That's the part when I'm talking to people, I wish, and maybe I'll do it, I wish I could teach them that leap, that talking to people, that both in the portrait studio or on location shooting, as well as talking about money. Because if you approach it the right way, you can overcome practically any objection. If you approach it the wrong way, you don't look professional. And I don't want to scare you, I want to help educate you. I want, like, when that person says, what are your prices, what are your packages, you say, well, that really depends on what you need. What I pride myself in is, you know, in whatever your specialty is, talk about the experience and move them to, say, a direction in letting you know what it is they want. For example, Lori Nordstrom really specializes in selling large wall portraits or clusters. And so her first focus is to begin immediately in the first conversation to say, where are you putting your enlargements? She's not asking you, are you getting enlargements? She's saying, where are you putting your enlargements? And so it moves the conversation and gets them thinking about, oh, I didn't really think about that. It launches, now you're in control of the conversation. So if they could send you an iPhone pic of the areas they would like to put their pictures, then you could customize a package for them. Now right away, it's not going to be competing on any level whatsoever with your competition. Now you've just created a service. You're not a product, you're an experience.
I like that customized idea.
And so I think as artists, as photographers, everybody's a photographer today. We have to differentiate ourselves in some manner, and for myself, the way I've been developing and building my business is to put a tangible product back in people's hands that they haven't had for many years now. If I can get a one-on-one contact, if I can actually set a product in a person's hands, they do the I don't know if you watch Creative Live or Sal Sincata, they actually do the, oh my goodness, I've never seen anything like this. They're touching it, and it changes the conversation completely. And so the goal on the website is not to let people make a decision based on price. It's to pre-qualify them. Are they in that bracket? And then get to the conversation.
That is an excellent quote. Somebody write that down. The goal. Say that again, Ron.
I say the goal of your website is not to get a person to agree with your prices. What did I just say? I go over these things so fast.
It's not to get a person to make a choice.
My goal
prices
as a client is to get to the conversation, because then I can answer their questions, educate them, and see if we are actually a good fit. And honestly, not everyone is. Even if they've got a lot of money, even if they want to dump $2,000, it doesn't mean they're right. And so you're going to discover that.
So it's asking a question back to them, like what do they want out of the session, and what end product that they require, and then giving them a price based on that.
Yeah, you'll be able to answer the question, either go a little further. You don't want to avoid the question. The worst thing you could do when someone asks you a price is avoid the question, but you want to have enough information to answer it intelligently and see if you're that fit. And so that's why I say that to people. And when they say, oh, that seems expensive, never say, oh, yes, it is. Say, oh, I understand how you might feel that way. And explain to them, I've looked into this, I value myself as a photographer, and I value you as a client, and these prices reflect that value. This is the lowest price I can charge to give you that quality product. What are they going to do? They're either going to say, I understand, but it's out of my price range, or they're going to nod their head like probably 75% of the people do and say, what's the next step? When can I book you?
I'm gonna disagree with you on that just a little, because I actually found that, and I got a lot of advice along those lines too.
Yeah.
I never justify my prices, ever. My prices are what they are, period. People do not, and people go, oh, well, the photographer down the street is so much cheaper than you. They're like $100 and you get a whole disc of images. You're like $3,000, and I go, well, that's okay. It's the same thing as them going into like a 5-star restaurant and going, well, McDonald's is cheaper. Yeah, go get yourself a cheeseburger then, heifer. I never ever call my clients names, by the way.
No. I still find when I get the direct question, oh, that's expensive, I still find a response by saying, I understand that you feel that way, with a simple answer about how you value them and yourself. And you don't have to defend, you're not defending yourself. You're not saying, oh, I'm more expensive because. You just say, I've looked at it, I value myself, I value you, and to give you, that great experience, that's what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
It's a simple answer. I don't get into dollars and cents. I don't get into justifying what the difference is between 100 and 3,000. I just want them to know that I value them. And in order to value them as a client, as a customer, and to give them great work, that's what it's going to cost.
Yeah,
usually it gets a head nod. So I agree with you, though. Never get into that finding you have to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
away. I'll let you go with it there. So.
No, it's good. I don't think that the problem is ever that they can't afford it. When somebody says that's too expensive, what they're really translating to you is you have not conveyed to me a value that is greater than what you are asking me to part with. In this case, a monetary amount. Okay? The other thing is that a lot of times they're looking at it like $3,000 per session. Guys, that's more than my mortgage on my house. Let's just put that in perspective. Some months I can't afford myself. Okay? Yeah. There are a lot of clients that come in and they go, oh, you must be in a really affluent zip code. I have shot housewives and I have shot broke college students eating ramen noodles and pizza 3 days a week. And I have shot, lawyers' wives, and I have shot, blue-collar workers, and I have shot, the entire spectrum. I'm not catering to people that have a certain amount of money in their bank account. I'm catering to people that really love what I do. And if somebody comes up to me and goes, well, I really want to book the $2,500 package. I love all of these images, but I can't part with $2,500 right now. That's where taking credit cards comes in handy. And that's also where payment plans are a huge, huge help. And there are a lot of people that really hate payment plans and say, oh no, it's the devil. I love them. Probably 8 out of 10 of my clients are on them. And here's what I really love about it is that one of the things that makes it really hard and makes all of us grit our teeth, especially when we're just starting out, is that when you work for someone else, you have a steady paycheck. Usually you're getting a dollar amount per hour. You know how much money you're making a month, and you know that pretty much every 2 weeks you're getting a paycheck for $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever the amount is, but you know it is coming. It is steady. It is consistent every month. That terrifies people to go out and go, well, what if nobody books this month? What if I make $5? What if I don't make anything? You know? And then you go in and, sorry, my computer's acting up. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Hearing you fine.
Okay, great. So the fear comes in the fact that you guys feel like, well, if I don't make the same amount of money that I'm getting with this steady, dependable paycheck, I'll lose my house, I'll lose my car, I won't be able to feed my kids. You know, there's all of this fear coming on with it. The payment plans have really enabled me to sort of sidestep that because everything gets broken out. So if there's a client on a $200 a month payment plan and another client on a $500 a month payment plan and another client on a $100 a month payment plan, and they all stretch out, the way that my credit card company works is they'll just allow me to set it up and say it's a 12-month payment plan for $200, and it tells me when they start and stop, and I have a little calendar that's letting me know that I only have 5 months left on Joni's payment plan, but I have 12 months left on Danielle's, and I have 5 months left on Tom's, and this and that. So I know that for at least the next 5 months, I have $2,400 coming in if I don't do a thing. So there is that steady money, and then anything else that I book, whether they pay in full or pay in part, is just gravy money. So now we're to the point where I know that I make enough money even if I don't work that month, so all that fear is gone. It took about a good solid year to build it up, but I can't recommend it highly enough. And you know, for my people, and maybe we'll do another one that's just on pricing, like I don't have that sense of foreboding. Yeah. I was always a little bit braver, but
I have I have the issue. The last 2 sessions I did were generous sessions, but they were for people that I wouldn't consider, like I said, oh, you wouldn't be able to afford it, but they did. They decided to make a payment plan. My question was, I didn't have that set up, ready to roll. What's your system? Like you said, you know, with your credit card company or your bank or through, like, what have you found that works for you that can automate that process?
Okay, so I use GoPayment, which is through Intuit, and I love them. And it's pretty standard. It's like between 2 and 4%, I guess, on transactions. You'll pay a percentage back to them for being able to use the credit card. But the way that it works is it's a little stupid app. And I have, they just updated it recently, and it totally threw me off. But, like, it's just a really simple, stupid little app that I can put on my phone or on my iPad. You guys probably can't see that with the screen. But literally, now it has the ability that it just opens up the camera, and it takes a picture of the credit card, scans the numbers for me, and adds it in. And then it just asks me, is this a one-time payment for how much? And then you put in their name and their contact info. And it charges them one time. If it's a reoccurring payment, that one you have to actually get on the computer for. But what I can do is I can charge it once and then say that I'm setting up a payment. And then once they leave the studio, I go in and I say, okay, this is going to get broken down into a 12-month payment. You're going to charge, you're going to charge Ron $200 on the 5th of every month for the next 12 months, and it'll run and it auto stops, so I never have to worry about it. And then if something happens, like, I'm really, really flexible. So if my client calls me and goes, my car just broke down, I'm having trouble with this and that, I can't make the payment this month, no problem. As long as it's within 5 days ahead of their charge, I can just go in and hit pause on the payment, and it won't charge for that month. And then I just reset it, and it picks up the month after and resumes. So it's super simple.
Excellent. Yeah, that's really good to know, because in adapting this new pricing that I've been doing, the fact that I'm able to offer people payments has changed everything. Like literally since January, I've been able to reach a broader audience. People are far more willing to hire me, but I haven't put something that's automated in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. It really streamlines it, makes it super simple for me. As far as the payment plans go, they just sign an extra contract then, and it basically just says, you have agreed to purchase a $2,000 package. Let's say usually, here's what I do. I hate math so much that when they get the 20 image box, it's 2,500, and I give it to them for 24, so it breaks down really evenly over a 12-month period, and it's 200 a month. I go, I'm feeling super generous, and I will give this to you for $200 a month, and we'll just waive the other.
Under-promise and over-deliver. It works.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my most popular package. They get a 20 image box, and I break it down over 12 months. So it's usually $200 a month, comes out of their credit card. I only do payment plans if they put it on a credit card that's on file, because there's just less headaches. It's less for me, it's less for them, and it's not that I don't think they're going to pay, it's just that you get busy and you forget. And if you have to constantly be thinking, I have to put the check in the mail, like really, how many of you write checks really frequently? Everything is just online bill pay. It's just auto deduct. Everything is streamlined. So for the sake of not bugging them, and because I don't want to be a bill collector and be calling them every month going, hey, just a reminder, it's the 10th of the month, I haven't gotten your check yet. And then they're like, oh no, and they're trying to figure it out. It just makes it super simple for everyone. So they have to put it on a credit card if they're doing a payment plan.
Yeah.
And then the way that I did it so that they're still getting something out of it is, now that it's broken down to where it's 20 images, I give them the box the first month. So they come in for the session, we'll say in January, and they book a 20 image session. So they're going to get a box from Fineo with 20 images. Hi, Martin. Then what they're going to do is the first month after their session, they come in on the 1st of January. On the 1st of February, they'll get the box itself in the mail. And I don't tell them that I do this, although if they watch this now, they'll know. But they get the box the first month. And then the second month, they'll get 2 images. And the third month, they'll get 2 more. So by the time we get to the end of the payment plan, they have all of their images in the box. But then they're not thinking about the fact that $200 is coming out of their bank account every month, which causes buyer's remorse. They're thinking, oh, it's the beginning of the month, I wonder which images I'm going to get. And they start looking forward to it because they figure it out. So by the end of the year, they have a full box. So there's just always a positive feeling towards their session with me. The experience sells. That's why they spend $2,000 or $3,000 with me after they told the guy down the street for $250 that they wouldn't book him.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like we're as much in the business of educating photographers as we are as in educating our clients. Mm-hmm. The whole industry needs to keep focused on that. But anyway, that's another day. That's another topic.
Well, it's both, because I don't mind. Like, you can charge $250 all you want. I don't care. That's whatever you want. I don't believe for a second it's devaluing the industry, because everybody around me is charging that, and I'm charging my rates just fine.
Yeah.
And I also think that, like every other business, I think photographers actually get a little snotty and self-entitled, which isn't a problem with our country at all. Sorry, did I say that out loud? They do. They, photography has opened up the doors, and there are no barriers to entry. I love that. Come on in. Come join me. I'm having a freaking blast over here. Grab your camera. Let's take some pictures and make some money. I'm all about it. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is people coming in and going, well, I have my camera, and so-and-so told me in a seminar I paid for that I should be high-end, so now I would like $10,000 for my wedding when I haven't done anything with it. And they don't even know why they want those prices. It just sounds good to say you made $10,000 a session. There are 3 business models, and I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if you're selling photographs or you're selling cheese, okay? It works the same way. There is high volume, low cost. If you are going to shoot 30, 50 sessions a month, then you're going to be high volume. You cannot physically give the same kind of attention to detail and the same kind of experience to your clients that I can if I'm only booking 3 sessions a month. It's just physically impossible. That does not make my business model better than yours, because there are some people that will look at me for the rest of my life and go, you're fucking out of your mind if you think I'm paying $3,000 for some pictures of my girlfriend in her underwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it just depends on the value. The people that get it, get it. The people that don't. And we all do that. And we go, oh, people just don't value me as a photographer. Do you not think that when you're walking through Walmart and you pick up your boxed hair dye, that there's not a hairdresser cringing somewhere and thinking of stabbing himself in the eye with his curling iron that you're doing box mix? Do you not think that 5-star chefs look at you going into McDonald's and go, oh my God, they think that's food? It's the same for everything. There's always a low-end tier for everything. And why do you do it? Because you don't value the experience and the product enough to part with what you're being asked to part for. Everybody makes those choices.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be low end, I'm fine with that. That doesn't bother me at all. If you have nothing better to do with your day than take pictures, that's awesome. Some days I envy that, and I wish I had nothing to do all day than go play in my studio and dress girls up and take beautiful pictures, but I don't. You know, I
Isn't that
have.
what photographers do? That's what we do all day long, for 8 hours a day. Yeah.
There are. I know some photographers that do. Like, they go and they spend all day in their studio and they shoot multiple sessions, and they love it and they can operate at that high energy. I can't do that. I want to spend time with my kids. They're getting so big so fast, and I keep pushing on their heads trying to keep them shorter than me. It's just not working. You know, and it's going to be gone. Like, in another 10 years, my daughter will graduate high school. And I look at that and I go, that's still 10 years away. And then I look at her and I go, she's turning 9. I already passed almost 10 years. Like that, you know?
Fast.
And the older you get, the faster it goes, because we're at the other end of the hill. So it's got that roller coaster effect. So we go down way faster than we went up it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I don't want to do that. I like having a lot of free time in my life to spend time with my children and to do other things that I want to do and do personal projects and do a lot of the charity work that I do. So I don't want to book that many sessions. Mm-hmm. But I do want to make the money that I want to make. So it really just depends. If you look at it and you say that you want to make $1,000 a month, then you have to decide. Because if you want to work 10 days a month, then you can charge $100 a session. If you want to work 1 day a month, then you charge $1,000 a session. Like, it's just, everybody picks their price and then tries to build to that to work their lives, and they go, oh, well, you know, I was told that an 8x10 actually costs $155 because of some confounded algebra scheme that nobody really understands. And I think that I should charge what I'm worth, which the industry is telling me should be this amount of money. So based off of that, I'm now going to charge $500, and I need to make at least this much. So I'm going to, and they chase after the money instead of allowing the money to follow them. But if you look at it and you go, okay, this is my lifestyle, this is the house that I want, this is the car that I want, this is the lifestyle that I want to have the ability to go out to dinner 4 nights a week, and I want to have the ability to put my kids in taekwondo and horseback riding and whatever else, and I want to be able to go to the movies 3 times a week, and I want to be able to travel and take 2 luxurious vacations every year for a month, 1 in the fall and 1 in the spring, and I want to do this. So this is what my life plan is, and it comes out to $10,000 a month, and you go, whoa, $10,000 a month is a lot of money. I don't know if I can do that. Well, then you start breaking it down and you go, okay, well, it's $10,000 a month. That's only $2,500 a week. There's about 4 weeks in every month. That's slightly more doable. $2,500 a week, we're going to make it 8,000 so I can go back down to normal numbers. So we'll say $2,000 a week is still a lot of money. Well, $500 a session, that's only 4 sessions a week, which still leaves you 3 days a week free. If you take it down further and go to $250 a session, it's only 8 sessions a week. So 1 day a week you're doing 2 sessions in a day. Take it down a little bit further. I'm going to go down to $100 a week. So I'm going to shoot 2 sessions every day during the week, but I'm going to have the weekends off. There's so many ways that you can spin it. My math is probably off on all of that, but you get the general idea of it. And then it just becomes, well, I can't do 10 sessions a week because I have 2 kids and I want to be able to go to their Little League practice. So I'm definitely not working Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I only have 5 days a week to work. I'm also not going to work Wednesdays because I have bad hair on Wednesdays and I just don't want anybody to see me. And I'm not going to work on Sundays either because Sunday is the day of rest. So I'm now down to 3 days a week. So how much do I want to charge for my sessions? Like, build your life first where you want it to be, and then figure out what you want to charge per session instead of the other way around. Does that make sense? Okay. Danielle, I haven't talked to you in forever. Let's have a conversation. You got to take the mic off, though.
Wait, no, Mr. Wheeler wanted to say something. He said it like 5 chat things back.
Okay.
I don't really have much to say, so he can talk.
Okay. Master Wheeler.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, good. No, I was just going to reiterate what Ron said and what you've been saying. I'm pretty much sitting here silently agreeing with everything because I have a conceptual and commercial studio that I run that's not part of adwheelerphotography.com. And I handle it as a separate entity, and we have a lot of competition in a very small area. A lot of studios, a lot of photographers, all fighting for the same customers, and it is that same thing. You have to. I don't post prices either. I handle every case as a consultant, and I bring people in to a nice little cool part of my studio, and we talk about what they want and what they need. And we design a price for them, and we handle it with payments, or we offer credit cards and the whole 9 yards. Same thing that you do, Jess. You have to do all of that, and then you continually put out quality work, and at that point, like you said, you design your life, what you want to do, and then you put your prices to that, and then if you work hard and you offer everything that you need to offer, you'll get there. It's just if you're just trying to, we put the whole fishing rod out for a long time on the website. Just put out the price list and sit back and wait, and it doesn't work like that, because everybody's doing that. There's 1,000 people doing that you're competing with. You got to be those people that do something a little different and show that you have the artist. We call ourselves the unphotographers because
the unphotographers.
The unphotographers, because
okay.
We incorporate the artistic side of it, and it's very important that we give something different than just pushing a button and processing a file and there you go. So it's an experience. So like what Ron said about the pricing structure and what you said, I totally agree with. I definitely have to do all that, for sure. That's it. That's all I got.
How about you, Morgan? I know you've been harping about business a little bit in the chat here and there.
Pretty much totally unexperienced with business. I've done a couple weddings for friends and friends of family, basically. Pretty much no pricing structure or idea to it. And I've done one kind of shoot for a website company that my buddy used to work for, and that's about it. So it's really beneficial to kind of hear about everybody else's struggles and stuff with regards to getting a business kind of up and going, because that's.
Is that reassuring for you?
It's reassuring,
Yes, nobody else is making money either.
No, not that part, but like Joni's critique earlier, I was like, I could see Joni being like a little bit ahead of me, and she felt like she was a beginner, so it was really nice to hear like she feels everybody else in our cohort's kind of ahead of her, and I'm like, well, I'm glad somebody else kind of has that same feeling, because I really like doing photography, and I think I'm decent at it, but I still haven't necessarily found that niche. I haven't become the surgeon, as you say. So I've tried a bunch of different things, and I still don't know what it is that really kind of gets me going. So I'm still kind of trying to figure that out, and I'm starting to think that portraiture might be a better avenue for me to at least kind of do something that gets me some more consistent money than. So doing that and getting known for that, and then kind of doing, landscape stuff on the side, because that's something I enjoy personally, but I don't know if that's what I would want to make money off of if I do photography.
Why not?
I don't know.
Why not? You
No, it's
don't
thoughts.
want to make money off of it, or you consented to the idea that you don't think you can make money off of it?
Probably a bit of both, and it's stuff that I'm trying to think through and figure out right now. So it's not a set in stone thing. It's a pre-birthday dinner. Saw that there was a massive hangout going on. And I'm like, I gotta hop in.
I'm so excited we got you for your birthday. 10 points for Morgan. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. It's still tomorrow.
Here's my thing. Before any of you start looking at money in terms of the business, start looking at what you really love to shoot.
Yeah.
That is number one. Whatever makes you pick up your camera when you aren't getting paid for it, that is what you should be focusing on for your business. That and nothing else. And that's it. It really is that simple. As far as let me see if I can fix that. As far as the rest goes, the rest will follow it. But I don't care how much money you're making, you will be miserable if you're not doing something that makes you happy. Like, find another avenue. Photography is not the place to go to settle and agree to mediocrity in terms of your passion. Like, there are a million other ways that you can be miserable in a job and make more money than you can at photography shooting something that you don't love. If this is your path, then go for it ferociously and faillessly, and just fight for it every single day. There's no reason whatsoever that every single one of you can't make money doing exactly what you're passionate about to shoot. And the thing is that people will pay more for that because of that passion, because they feed off of energy. I can get anybody excited about freaking anything because I'm like a little chihuahua on espresso. And once I'm hyped on something, everybody else is, you guys are doing it right now just while I'm talking. You're like, yeah, rabid dogs and caffeine. Let's do this. I can get anybody excited about anything because I'm so genuinely excited. And that's why, like, I kind of like bit my lip a little earlier when Ron was like, oh, get some, go over and do some role playing and have some scripts. I never ever work off of the script because that's cookie cutter and it's one size fits all. The same general information goes into everyone because it's the same info, but it's always custom tailored. How I would sell a session to Joni is totally different than how I would sell it to Danny, totally different than how I would sell it to Morgan. It's just, there has to be that interaction. I think it's so important. And since most of you guys are delving into portrait photography, it's the same thing that sells the art, sells the package afterwards. It's this connection. The biggest problem that I have with people when they come to my retreats and they're trying to direct and they're like, oh, I don't know how to get the model to do what I want and I don't have the kind of energy that you do. You know why? It's because they pick up their camera, and when they pick up their camera, they go like this. And they go, okay, can you like move your arm? You cannot have a connection with someone right now while you have a camera in front of your face. You just can't. And I'm constantly going over and going, look at her and talk to her, because when I come right here and I'm talking to you, you can feel that even through the screen. Can you not? Doesn't that make a different, yeah, nice, Ron. Doesn't that make a totally different impression than if I'm, here? Even if I'm talking to you and I'm clicking and you know that I'm a photographer, it's totally different. So it's the same thing when you're talking to people about pricing and products. If you start telling people, oh, well, we have a beautiful 20 image box with custom leather bindings and, on a metallic print, and I hear this all the time, and that's great. Like, you're right. It is. It's beautiful, imported from Italy, leather, top of the line, blah, blah, blah. Nobody fucking cares. They don't. They don't. I could sell cardboard before you could sell custom Italian leather, because it's not about the product. It's about them.
Let me defend the role playing for a second before we go ahead.
I struck a nerve.
No, you didn't strike a nerve, because I'm opposed to people rehearsing a set response. Role-playing for me comes in when there's a lot of people who are just beginning who have not engaged in that conversation and don't have the confidence to know what their answer is. And so role-playing gets them not to say my script, but to develop their own inner voice, because you'll answer questions, and you'll do this week. You're going to answer questions a little bit differently with the same answer 10 times. Because you know already, you're convinced in your mind and in your process what the answer is, and you bring it to that situation. So the answer won't sound exactly the same, but it's the same answer. It arrives at the same conclusion. I hope I'm not confusing everyone, but because my brain thinks like that. I've always said if I can get into the room with somebody, it's a sale. If I can sit down with somebody and explain to them, if I can transmit that enthusiasm for what we're about to do together, they're going to go ahead and do it. It's getting to that point, and that's why I was saying the point of the website is to get the conversation.
Absolutely.
The people that haven't had that conversation or aren't comfortable having that conversation, that's what I mean by role-playing, sitting down together and saying, okay, here's a question, answer it, and then giving them some ideas about where they can take it, because the more it comes out of your mouth, the more it becomes who you are. It's natural. Then I can look at your response, I can look at your eyes, I can look at your body language, and know immediately where to move that conversation.
Yep, I
But
agree.
that only comes from doing it. It doesn't come from thinking about it. And that's the role-playing I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, and role-playing I'm fine with. I think that's a great form of practice. I don't like when people, and you can tell this, how many times have you gotten a call from a telemarketer and you can just hear them reading off the script?
Yeah,
Hello,
scripting,
Mrs. Lark. I'm calling you today on behalf of, and you can just tell, and you go, so what's the product? And you can hear them flipping the pages and going, our company was established in 1972. No, but what's the product? And and they just keep going. Like, that's what you don't want to do, because again, it's the disconnect there. It doesn't matter how well rehearsed it is or how well memorized. People don't want that. They want you. They want you. You are an artist. You create things that they can't touch, and you create them around, for my people, since most of you are portrait artists, you will show them themselves in a way that they have never seen themselves. You want to get people to pay premium prices, fall in love with every single one of your clients. I fall in love with everybody that I come into contact with. I'm in love with every single person in my cohort, even when Tom's like shoving cats in the screen to make everybody laugh at the bottom. Find something. Find something about that person. That's why I got Ava and Joni both to cry, because I knew where they were right at that moment, and I can see that in them. If you find something that they attach to on an emotional level, emotion trumps logic 9 times out of 10. It just does. If you can get people to feel an emotional attachment to your product and your service, then that's it. You have them. They will write a blank check in your name and let you fill it out. And it's not, it's not taking advantage of anybody or playing off of emotions, because it's genuine. I want them to have that reaction because I want to create that for them. And you should too. So anytime that anybody asks you about a session, here's the thing, is that when you start answering, before you send that email or before you pick up that call, ask yourself if the question you're answering is what or why, because what does not sell, why does, all the time. Does that make sense? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
Are you guys done?
Feed into that. Nobody else is saying anything. Why? Actually, that you could do a whole 2 hours on why. The reason you do something is never what, it's always why. And if somebody else buys into your why, that's why they're willing to put the money down on something you're giving them that nobody else can, because they believe in your goal, your mission, your life, it's all in the why. I just started reading a book about that too. So both the why, not the what.
And that's what really separates you guys from everyone else. When you start thinking about selling and business, every single question should be a question about why, and it shouldn't be about the products, and it shouldn't be about the services, because everybody can compete with you on that. What they can't compete with you with is who you are and why it's important to you. That's it. The way that Joni feels about photography and the way that Tom feels and the way that David feels and the way that Danny feels and the way that Ava feels are totally separate from each other because of your unique perspective and experiences and how you view it and how you pour that part of yourself into art. That's what art is. That's why it moves people, because whatever you're creating, and this is why I pushed so hard for you to only focus on what you're passionate about. Leave your entire soul on that page in every single print. Make every single one a self-portrait. And when you do that, it creates this heart around the image that people can just feel the beat of just by looking at. And that resonates with people all the time. And when you do that, you will move them. And that is where you step away from being a photographer that provides a service to being a highly coveted artist. It's a completely different ball game, you know. And we talked about this before. I could paint the most beautiful landscape that you have ever seen in your life in the most high quality oils on the best canvas ever created with, you know, this $400 per plank wood as the stretched, you know, framing for the canvas, and I could have it in a 24 gold leaf frame, you know, from the 1500s, and it would sell less than a lipstick stick figure on a napkin from Van Gogh. Why? Because Van Gogh created it. Because of the name. Because of who it is. Because it was created by him. That's what you're working towards. You guys don't want to be photographers. Photographers are service providers. You guys are photographic artists. You are creating something that they cannot get from anybody else but you. Once you learn how to do that, you can charge whatever the fuck you want, and they will pay it. Saves the muse.
We all stand up and applaud. This is the time when the whole audience goes, yeah. All right.
They were doing that. They had like little sound bites the one day. It was funny.
Great. Yeah, I was just going to say to someone about getting into a meeting, get into a conversation. It's not always the meeting, but if you're doing weddings, you got to get to the meeting. But it all starts with getting to the conversation, and that goes to getting beyond the website, just to answer that question.
Do you guys have other questions? Nobody?
The question that I had was, I still have old work that's printed out, that's already mounted and everything, but it's not in any way what I want to do now, but I've already invested the money into it. Should I sell it at the show, or should I donate it, or what should I do with it?
Nope. If it's not the, well, no. If it's printed and mounted and it's a gallery show, you can put it up. But if it's subpar compared to where you are now, then you're just diluting your brand.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that the technical or creative work isn't at the same level. It's just it's more. It's not the type of work that I do now, in the sense of like it's more. It's really colorful fetish and nudes, like people covered in.
Well, with
like
the gallery
shoot
show,
now.
with a gallery show, there has to be a consistency. The gallery should show a story. You should be able to follow it around the room, and it should all coincide together because it's standing next to each other. So you don't want it to look choppy. That said, what I might be inclined to do is if you have them all mounted, I might offer them and have them in a pile, like in the corner of the room, or have them on stands. Like, you know those poster stands in like the Targets and Walmarts where you can just like scroll through and there's like all the college posters? Yeah. I would think about doing something like that where they could get them at maybe, you know, whatever. Let's say they cost you $200 to print matte, then I would sell them for double that. But then I would make sure that that is probably, if they were 200 and you were going to sell them for 4, then all the new work you post I would sell for at least 6. So it shows the value difference. And I would say, you know, these are limited edition prints. These are the last ones that will ever be made. You can get them at a special price, even though they're not included with this specific show.
And I'm actually glad that you said the limited edition thing, because that was another question that I had. I know with paintings and sculptures, you create one and that's it. But with photography, I've heard kind of a split, when it comes to doing fine art photography, if you should do it in a series or a limited edition of prints, or if you should have an open edition, or if you should only make one, because even though it's a photograph, it's still just the one image, and you should only make one and market it the same that you would market a painting or a sculpture or any other fine art work. I don't know if that's specific to me, because I think everyone else does like weddings and portraits, but if anyone has an answer, you know.
So painters have the original piece that they created, but there are a lot of painters that offer prints of that painting as well. Here's the thing, is that when something is limited, the value goes up. There's nothing special about having one of your images if 8,000 or 10,000 or 800,000 or 8 million. If anybody can go on and buy that print, then there's nothing that makes it special to me. If there's only 10 of them in the world, they're rare. Rare pushes the price up.
Well, I've been told that I was crazy to only produce one print of each of my images. And by pretty much every photographer that I know, they say if it's a photograph, you should make more than one, even if you don't make 100. And so I'm wondering if that really is crazy to make one print and that print be the special print of, you know, that digital image or that film image.
No, it's not done. I don't know anybody else that does it, so maybe that's your thing. But then what happens? Do you keep the prints? Are they deleted off your hard drive? How do you know nobody else is ever going to make a copy of them? Are they shared online? There's a lot of logistics to consider at that point. But same thing that we were talking about with sessions, how you can book 10 sessions a month for $100 or one session for $1,000. If you were going to offer only one print of any single piece of art that you ever create, then the price goes up because that's the only one. So you can't do one print of every image and offer it for $100, but you could do one and offer it for $10,000. You'd make the sales a lot less often because of the higher price point, especially not being a well-established name. But at the same time, you don't need to sell 500 of them because you're selling them for $10,000 while everybody else sells them for $100. You know? Like, that was a huge issue that one of the people that I studied under had, was that he just thinks I'm out of my freaking mind. He calls me an extortionist all the time because he charges $200 an image, and he just cannot wrap his mind around the fact that somebody makes what he considers an obscene amount of money for a studio session. And he was arguing with me, and he's like, you're not even that good because you don't post work every day. And I went, well, no, because I don't work every day. He's like, well, I work every day. And I went, well, you make $200 a session and I make $2,000. So I only have to work one day to your every 10 in order to make the same amount of money, which does not make one better than the other. It's just a different business model. That's it. So if you need to make $10,000, you can sell one print a month, or you can sell 10 prints a month. You know, it just depends. Most people like to keep it a lower price point because they can imagine investing that kind of money in. You know, I look at my work and go, yeah, it'd be great to sell this print for $10,000, but I wouldn't buy it for $10,000. I'll just add it to my Pinterest account, and that's enough for me. You know, so you just have to like work through those arguments on your own. But somebody that's a really fine art collector may look at it and go, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I have to have it, and I have no problem parting with $10,000 in order to have it because they value it. So if that's what you want to do, Ava, go for it. I have no problems with you doing that. And by the way, nobody's voice should matter to you more than your own, even mine, even as your master in the group. If you look at this and go, this is what I want to do, and somebody else goes, no, don't do that.
I can chime in on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's really important life lesson, actually. If you're constantly changing yourself to please other people, you never really know who you are. And it's the same thing with your art as well. You do what you do and be happy with what you do because you do it. And the people will come. Just do what makes you happy. That's the important thing. I chased the first couple of years around, oh, don't do this or HDR that or whatever. And I spend a lot of time running in circles, going, well, nobody likes this, or this guy doesn't like that. Who cares? It's you. That the reason why you do the art is for you, and if you stick to that, you'll be truer to yourself, and you'll be a truer person because of it.
Yeah. Yep. Think about the most successful people you know, and there's a pretty good chance that they're pretty controversial. People either love them or hate them, and that actually should be thought about a little bit. And it's something that I've been learning myself, because as a young person, I was a real people pleaser. I wanted everyone to like me, and now I could give a rip, because the people that are important and the people that I connect with, we like each other, and the people that I don't, I still like them, but we don't have to get along. They don't have to be in the same room.
So, do you guys remember a couple of years ago there was that photographer, and HDR was just getting like really big and popular, and everyone was doing it. And do you guys remember that one photographer that was doing it like everybody else was doing it at that time? What was his name?
Exactly. Said no one ever. Yeah.
That's the thing. And the other thing is that if you have people around you, professionally or otherwise, that are judging your actions and your choices and going, you shouldn't do it this way, you should do it like I do it, you need to understand that their way is not the way. Even though you have 3 masters in here and we're kind of nodding with each other on some things, like Ron and I already butted heads on, no, don't rehearse that, don't do this, and he went, no, let me verify why I said that. We can go back and forth. Guess what? Both of us are right. It just depends on what resonates with you. You can follow either one of us. So my general theory is whenever somebody else is telling you what's working for them, just make sure you follow it up with that. They're not saying what works. They're saying what works for them. If that resonates with you and you go, yeah, that's a great idea, go do that. If you go, that's fucking stupid, then don't go do that. Like, it's okay. They can keep on their path, and you can go right down yours. And maybe you'll follow them for a little while. Like, you guys are going to do 20 levels with me, and then you're going to move up to a higher master. And you may go to them, and they may tell you things that I said, please, make sure you do this all the time. Never not do this. And they're going to go, whatever you do, don't do that. And you're going to have to look at it and go, well, yeah, Lark I always kind of thought she was stupid when she said to do that, and so I'm going to listen to this person. Other people are going to go, no, Lark told me to do this, and ever since I did this, my business has been thriving. I'm absolutely not going to listen. Both of those are okay. They really are. And the thing is that when you have other photographers, and photographers are phenomenal for this because we're all moody artists, and we put all of ourselves into our art, so we get really easily offended because an attack on anything that we have created is an attack on us. So what do? We go, we love this industry, and we're just trying to protect it, and we, yes, Ron, and we just feign over it, and how dare you not charge the rates you should have, and how dare you use this retouching software, and oh, you don't understand anything. The reason they succeed and the reason others fail are the same reason. You are going to go far, and they are not. You want to know why? Because you and them are both paying attention to you. If they're looking at you, they're not busy. Don't pay attention to anybody that comes to you to give you advice that you didn't ask for. It's totally different when you come in a critique and you set aside your time and we go, we're going to do Q&A with business and marketing because you came in looking for that. But if you're just doing your thing over here and somebody goes, I really don't like the way you have your prices set up, and if you knew what you were talking about, you would do it this way. If you were doing it that way, you would be way too busy to know what I'm doing over here. So scurry along. Just don't even let it phase you. All right. We've been at it for an hour and a half. Are you guys spent? Have I worn you out? I'm going to take that as a yes.
My head is spinning.
No. Sarah, you went through all that trouble to get your thing online. Make it worthwhile. Where are you at?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hooked it up. I needed you, Morgan, and you weren't here. Um, right now, I am in a tizzy. I'm at a make it or break it point, and I want to make it the photography. Um, I'm,
Okay.
fa- I'm facing a job crisis by the end of the summer. I may not have one. So I think this is a sign that I need to take it to the next level. So I don't have to worry about this job crisis anymore. I just don't know how to get there. So it's been a lot of
Okay.
sleepless nights.
I don't know how to get there. Where is there?
That's another question.
Oh.
As I've discussed before when in other chats, I'm divided in two directions. I really love doing the portrait stuff, but keeping it on an intimate level. Um, I like doing the families, but I don't love doing the families. I'm kind of where Joni was about the weddings.
That's it.
It's
It's
not what
gone
I
then.
want to do. It's not what I want to do. And I like the idea of being able to do just a couple of sessions and actually make more money than I'm making now doing what I'm doing and actually loving what I'm doing. My passion's in the landscapes, the nature photography.
Okay. Who
But I
buys
like
the
doing both.
landscape?
I like doing the portraits, the one-on-one portrait sessions. I
What
like
kind of portraits?
what?
What kind of portraits?
Um, women's portraits, just ordinary. I was watching Joni's critique, and it resonated with me because I like that whole idea of doing those cameos. You know, getting women, ordinary women, and just doing beautiful portraits of them.
Okay. So more
And
along the lines of glamour than, say, boudoir.
glamour, yeah. Well, not so much glamour. I don't want people. I located a makeup artist. It's actually a friend of my daughter's who graduated, and I'm going to play. We're going to experiment a little bit because she needs a little exposure, and I need a little makeup. So I'm looking to set up a couple of sessions with the younger crowd and see if I can't just do some specialized portrait sessions. You know, not high school sessions. I don't want to do senior sessions. I don't want to do bridal sessions, not necessarily boudoir. It's whatever you come to me as a woman and you want a beautiful portrait. And I want to do that. Whether we do it indoors or outdoors, I just want it to be about the beautiful portrait. I don't know how to market that.
Well, you don't know what it is you're marketing yet. That's part of
That's
your
it.
problem
Yeah.
right now.
Mhm.
You're being very, very vague about it, and I don't know what you're selling, so therefore I won't buy.
Okay.
So your first step is going to be to figure out what it is that you're selling. You can't get to where you're going if you don't know where you're going, and I can't help you build a map or find yourself if I don't know where the destination is.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
I contacted, I was in touch with this girl who's doing the makeup, and we're actually going to do some play shoots just so I can get a feel, just playing around and doing some experimenting to see if I can and filter out what it is I really want to do with that.
Okay, play dates are good. I love play dates. I do them all the time, but even still, you're kind of going just a little bit backwards because you went and found a makeup artist to go play at a shoot, but you still don't know what you're doing. They're just photographs of women, and that encompasses a lot of genres.
I know.
Are you on Pinterest?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have a board right now for your dream shoots for what those look like?
No.
That's not the right answer. So, so that's what you should do. The first step would be to go seek inspiration. Go on Pinterest and say, this is my what I want to do board, and name it something fabulous, my beautiful women, femininity, whatever you want to call it. And then go and seek out other images, and you'll know it when you see it. You're an artist, so you're visual, go and look and go, I love this one. Yes, I want to do this. I love that one. Yes, I want to do this. I don't like that. I don't want to do that.
Photographer that I actually, I've been following her work for a little bit, and her style really appeals to me. She does it mostly with children. I want to do that with women. And I
so
her style of photography. So now I just have to try and come up with my own version of that.
Okay, so what you should do with this particular person, if she's shooting children and you want to shoot women, is figure out what it is about the image capture itself, because it's not about the subject, it's a different subject matter. What is it about these photos that you find striking? They're very classic, they're very clean, they're very sharp, they're, 90% of them are like Darn's photos during his critique where they're 1/3 and there's lots of empty space. What is the focus? What is it about the images that move you? And write down everything that you can possibly think of with them, because those will be all the things that you'll build your brand and your imagery around.
Now, is it okay to split, to diversify with the, I mean, I like to do the portrait work, but my passion is still the nature photography. I mean, I watched that Art Wolf thing on Creative Live 3 times. Because that's just...
You can't sell them together. So if you wanted to do, let's say your passion was these beautiful portraits of women, and you really, really loved photographing newborns, and you also really love doing family portraits. There's the common thread, because they're all people. Especially if you were doing beautiful portraits in children, the segue is maternity from one to the other, you know. So those you can kind of thread together, but as soon as you put things that are very stark apart, it puts you as a general practitioner, and it's basically like saying, I'm a chef and a blacksmith. You know, it just doesn't jive. Like, it doesn't work. So if you want to do the landscape and sell them as art prints, and that's something you want to do, I think that's fine, but I would have it on a separate website. That's just me, though.
I was thinking of that because I have both on my website. I actually have more landscapes than portrait work, which says a lot. Looking through, even looking for my pictures for the critique, 99% of my stuff is what I love to shoot, and that's outdoors and nature photography.
Okay, so here's the thing is that a lot of photographers will tell you that you have to specialize.
Mm-hmm.
I won't. I don't think you have to choose which one. I think you need to choose which one first. Which one right now. Because here's the thing is that you can't flip back and forth between the two and hope to find success with both of them. You have to get one and make it work. And it's like spinning plates. Like, have you ever seen those people that can spin the plates on the thing? What do? They get the one plate going, and then when it's going and it's ready to go and it's spinning, then they can let it go and they can move to the second one. And then once that one's going and running, then they can come back and they can give the other one a couple of turns and they can keep going that way. You can't start them both at the same time. You'll break your plates. So which one do you want to start with? Which one are you willing to put all of your heart and soul into making a success? Because once you get it up and going, then you can add to the second. Portraits are easier to make money at. Landscapes are your bread and butter, because the trees will not buy portraits of themselves.
I know.
So landscapes are where your passion is. Portraits will be easier to make money if you're looking to branch in and do that, because it's service related. The landscapes are just for art. It's not impossible, but it's difficult.
That's why I figured I'd start with the portraits. And then we might work on my landscapes in my downtime. That's for me for now. And focus it on the portraits, where it's more feasible for me to actually do something with it, especially if I'm looking to make it something I need to earn a living with.
You can't do this. You can't leave your job and go into photography full-time and expect to have downtime. Either you're going to kill yourself over it for the next 6 months, like dinner depends on it, because it now does, or you're not. So you have to be okay with setting aside landscapes for the next 6 to 12 months. Are you okay with doing that?
Yep.
Okay. Now, talking about beautiful women and striking portraits and your love of landscapes, what is to keep you from going and landscape shooting with beautiful women as the subject in the landscape?
I've already got something in the works for that with a model for August who actually approached me on it. So, and she's a very good model. She's more experienced in modeling than I am in photography, so I plan on learning a lot from her. And she's gorgeous, and she's willing to do just about anything. So I'm hoping we can make this fly in August and get out there and do some landscapes.
If I wanted to blend the two, that's exactly what I would be focusing on. If landscapes are your passion, portraits are where you think the money is, and you like doing them too, then I would specialize in your area doing beautiful feminine portraits with epic landscape backgrounds. That is your thing. And that cuts out probably about 80% of the competition around you. They may go and flirt with it every now and then and create an image here and there, but if that is all that you do, then that makes you the heart surgeon and then the general practitioner.
That works because I don't have a studio. I have to, even when I do family portraits, I have to do them in the environment. I do environmental portraits because I have no choice.
Okay. Well, now it's not a settling thing where you're doing that because you don't have a studio. You're choosing to do it outside because of your love of landscapes. It's all about how you spin it. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I know as the second shooter at the weddings, the studio I've been shooting for, I take my landscape. It's funny because the one woman I usually shoot with, I'm second shooter. She's all about weddings. She can't take a landscape picture to save her life. So I always throw in some portraits of the bride and groom that aren't technically on the list, but that incorporate the gorgeous sunsets or something like that. And I've kind of worked that into the second shooting for this studio. And people are starting to notice that those, they want those images, even though typically in this studio the rule is they're black and white images from the second shooter and that's it. They're filtered. Right. But people are actually asking for them, which is kind of cool because it's the landscape, the portrait within the landscape. And I just got lucky the last 4 weddings that we had phenomenal sunsets.
So you're at the point right now where you're thinking of leaving your job, or your job is in jeopardy. So the next step would be to figure out how much money that you actually need to make a month, and then start breaking that down into how many sessions you want to do.
Okay, I've already started working those numbers. My problem is this area trying to market those numbers. It's tough. It's tough.
Tough, yes. Impossible, no. It's tough here too. The average boudoir session goes for $200 here. Don't tell me you can't do it.
Oh, I know, and the fact that you live in close proximity really is a good motivator for me because we're dealing with a lot of the same demographics.
Yep, we are, which is why I know you're full of it. But I say that with love.
Because I priced out weddings. I did actually inquire as a potential bride, God forbid, but yeah, the weddings here are getting less than your typical boudoir session is there. So I think it's kind of funny, and that's from the higher end studios here.
Yeah, they're $1,000 to $1,500 right around here. We're only like an hour and a half apart. So yeah. Trust me, there are some very, very prominent, very well known, very high end educator photographers in this area that are not very fond of me.
I'm sure. Too bad for them.
And it's because they can't wrap their heads around the fact that somebody makes that kind of money. Because when I was doing weddings, I was making $8,000 to $12,000 on every event, and it just infuriates people because they don't understand how to do it. And I feel badly about that. But at the same time, once people get really frustrated and they think because they can't do it that you can't do it, you cannot explain yourself to someone that's bent on misunderstanding you on purpose just to validate the fact that they can't do it. And that's part of the problem that we come to, is that there's this breakdown in communication. You can only help people that want your help, and the rest will misunderstand you purposefully just because it validates the fact that they're not doing what you say that you're doing. Which is fine. Like, there are plenty of people that have said that I lie and that I don't make those rates and that I just have pretty print materials that say it. And that's fine because I just keep cashing the checks anyway. So, it doesn't bother me anymore, because here's what I know, and I did this during my WPPI class last year. Like, I put up something. I was a JPEG shooter for like the longest time. Like, I just switched over to RAW like this year, and when I told people that, they were like, like I might as well have had leprosy. Like they were really upset about it, and I've always been very open about the fact that I had very little training and about all the stupid things that I did at the beginning of my career. And so when I decided that I wanted to switch over to Raw, I just put a status up on Facebook and was like, I think I'm switching to Raw.
I remember.
What do I need to know? That's right, you were on it. Didn't they go freaking psycho? It was like pouring blood in shark-infested waters. They went freaking nuts. How dare you think that you have the right to teach and you're just another sham artist, flash in the pan that's going to be gone, and you're everything that's wrong with the industry, and if you don't even understand the difference between RAW and JPEG, how dare you think that you have the right to teach a master class at WPPI on business? If I was teaching a master class at WPPI on the benefits of RAW, then there might have been an argument. But I was like, but the thing is that it doesn't matter. Like, I have a thicker skin than most, and it doesn't bother me, but that one did, because it was a really big accomplishment for me to have a sold-out masterclass at WPPI. Like, that was on my list of things I wanted to do since I picked up the camera. Like, I went to my first expo and said, I want to do that, and I didn't even have the new camera smell off me. I'm pretty sure I was still on the green square at that time when I said, someday I'm going to be up there teaching. So when this many people, and there were people whose opinions that I cared about, came on and told me that I was basically full of shit and I wasn't worth my weight and that I didn't have any right to stand among them, I took it to heart. And I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, and I was like, maybe they're right. I shouldn't even try to go up there, and I'm just gonna get that on stage. And I really don't have any right now. I haven't been doing it very long. And they were like, Jess. And then I stopped and I went over the people. I realized that everybody that had said something to me about me not being right in doing it had never ever been to a class of mine, had never heard me speak, had never read my book, had never had one-on-one time with me. They were all extremely ignorant in their judgments because they had nothing to base it off of. Nothing. And those were all the people that were saying that I shouldn't do it and that I wasn't worthy. So I stopped and I went to some of the other people, and I went through my email box, and I had my friend Beth send me a message. She had come to my Burning the Bridge retreat. 6 months later, after coming here, her husband quit his job, and she is the sole breadwinner because she's making so much money. And it wasn't because I was some brilliant teacher. It was because I did the same thing that I did with Joni and Ava today, and I sat down with them until they saw the same value in themselves that I saw in them. Because sometimes that's really all you need, is someone to go, no, it's right here. You can do this. This is in you. You do have this ability. You know, people get information from all over. What they don't have is anybody really pushing them to implement all of the information and to take it and to go. And somebody telling you that you can fly is a lot of times more powerful than somebody giving you instructions on how to actually accomplish it. Because a lot of it's just faith. You can have all of the information in the world, but if you don't have somebody that believes in you enough to make you believe in yourself, you will never step off that branch. You know, and that's, you know, really, like, you know, all three of my girls in here, that's where you guys are right now. You know? But I know you can, because you guys have more talent and you have better equipment and you have more experience than I did, and I did it in a couple of years. Guys, like, I didn't even know that you needed a trigger to get a strobe to fire when I started. I shot my first session on the modeling light because I couldn't get it to do the flashy thingy. Like, let's just keep it in perspective here. And I knew that you needed the aperture and the shutter speed and the ISO to change the settings on the light on the camera. The ISO? Yeah, that. You know, like, you couldn't get more "that girl will never be a photographer" than I was in the first 6 months. I'm glad you all are enjoying this. Please laugh it up. Because it is, but, you know, but that's the point, is that now we're 5 years later, and I have an international selling book, and I have a studio that I love, and I'm teaching at the Arcanum, you know. Like, I just spent a weekend hanging out in Wyoming with Trey Radcliffe. Like,
That was pretty cool. In a helicopter.
That was really fucking cool. Like, highlight of my career cool. You know, and I hear like all these things that they have. Like, I didn't think that Trey was actually talking to me when he contacted me to be a master for the Arcanum, because I was like, no way, is somebody playing a prank on me because they saw that I like. So I applied to be an apprentice because I thought it was such a cool idea and concept, and I was like, ooh, they have Ron Clifford, and they have Cliff Bass, and they have, you know, Dave Cross, and they have Jeremy Cohart, and they have Miss Daniela. I would totally study under those people. I want to be in it. And then I was like, he's like, so I was wondering if you'd be interested in being a master at the Arcanum, and I was like, right, and you're Trey Radcliffe, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's get on a Google Hangout, and like. So I'm like on the Google Hangout and like he connects, and I'm like, and I see his picture come up, and I'm like, oh, it is him, and I'm like, this is my hair, straight. Hi, you know, like all this stuff. Like I still get really excited and feel out of my league with like all of it all the time, and like I sit at the feet of the other masters and go, it's really funny because they think I should be here.
I did the same thing when I first met Trey. So.
Say that again?
I did the same thing when I first met Trey with my hair.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and that, yeah. No. Listen, there are two things. One, I just chastised my cohort because somebody said, oh, I suck. And nobody in my cohort is allowed to say, I suck, I'm not qualified, I'm not good enough. And the reason I tell them that is because I'm an awesome judge of character, and I didn't pick any losers. Second of all...
That's why you have the second best cohort.
Well, I would have picked you for my cohort, but you were already taken as a master, so... In regards to things like shooting in JPEG or kind of not knowing everything, it has become... blatantly clear to me that most of the people that are rather successful and people that I admire are people that know enough to do what they do and don't have to know everything. And so and it goes back to the thing you said about never having to defend yourself or your prices or your quality or your work, is that you've learned enough to produce results that people are paying for, and they're paying you more than they're paying most people. And so there's no need to defend whether or not you use RAW or JPEG. It doesn't make a bit of difference, not one. And it only makes a difference to the people that think that matters. That somehow think that makes them more valuable or important. So I just wanted to put that out there. Most of the people I know that are really doing it well don't know everything. But what they do amazingly well.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why a lot of us are in the Arcanum right now, is because we all are thinking that way.
Yeah.
You know I'm definitely tired of listening to that other side of people saying, well, you can't do it this way, or, you know, it should be done this way, or whatever. I just want to do my art. And I think that's one of the things I'm trying to teach in my cohort as well, is that, you know, I got a lot of guys coming in right now that are, say, like you know, I have to yell at them because I'm like, no, don't think like that. You know, you don't have to rush. You don't have to speed through anything. We're going to work on what you need to work on, not what you think everybody wants you to work on. So.
Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is that we are so, I don't know if it's human nature or if it's just the way we're raised, but we are so preconditioned to let one negative voice drown out every positive voice that's sounding in the background. You will get, I do it too, I'm really bad about it. Like, I will put up a beautiful photo and it'll get 70 pluses on Google and 125 likes on Facebook, and everybody will be like, oh, she's so gorgeous, the light is so beautiful, blah, 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 and it's just praise after praise after praise, and somebody will be like, her arm looks weird, and then I'll be like, what's the matter with her arm? What is that, do you think her arm looks weird? Because, well, he said her arm looks weird. I thought it looked fun. Well, maybe it does look a little weird. And so, like, and I will agonize over that one comment. Do you guys do this sometimes? Like, and I do it with everything. I did the same thing. I had so many people. I had 50 people pay like, I don't know, like $125 to come sit in on my class out of all of the other instructors there to listen to me yap at them for 2 hours. And what did I do? I went, oh, this guy doesn't think that I'm good enough because he's trolling my page like he trolls the 85 other pages I see him on, because that's what he does. So obviously when he says something bad about me, I should take it personal. I'm really sad.
I try not to take it personally. One of the remedies is I generally go and visit the website of the person criticizing me, and it usually fixes me up pretty good. It's
yeah. Yeah. You know, but even if it doesn't, like, they're still so minuscule. Like, out of 100 people, you'll have 5 of them. Like, you could literally, like, I could go in my cohort and take my 20 people and my other 15 masters, and I could just stomp them. Like, we could just run them over. Like, they would be like cartoon character flattened out and just like laying there like, really? Like, please ask me and what army, because my people are way cooler than your people because you're a douchebag, and douchebags hang out with other douchebags, and my people are awesome, which makes me awesome by association, and I would totally bring my army to the match. Just like I'm going to do with Ron later when we have our cohort challenge.
I saw that.
But we're going to do it politely.
Yeah, mostly politely.
We've got to get like our banner and flag set up first, right? And our shirts and everything.
Yeah. And bring cookies. Who's bringing the cookies?
I always bring cookies. Always.
Good. Hello.
Are you bringing cookies? These are all my people. Say hi.
Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm going to have to bug out of here. It's after midnight once again.
I know, that was like 2 hours. You guys have such stamina.
Yeah.
Trey's going to kick me out of the Arcanum just for all the innuendos.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad.
Oh, I don't think he's going to kick you out of that all whatsoever.
So, all right. Are you guys done? Are you spent? Call it a night? Going once?
I got to go. I'm out of here.
All right. Bye, Ron.
Bye, Ron.
Bye, Ron.
How about my peoples?
Well, you know I can keep going all night long, so I don't have stamina issues.
I could probably still go.
Okay,
Well,
well,
good listening.
you're not allowed to stay unless you think of something to ask Danielle. I'm going to just boot you.
Oh, no. Okay, I have nothing to ask right now. I haven't even started a business at all, so I don't really have anything.
Okay, well, are you thinking of starting one?
I think I'm still in the learning stage, but once I finish uni, which is next year, well, you know, I'll be wanting to go out and actually do more and possibly charge as well.
Okay, so if you want to start doing that when you're done, now is the time to start building it so that it's waiting there for you when you're done.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I think yeah, I wouldn't know where to start just yet.
Will you start from passion? Always. The basis of it is always passion. Start by looking at it and going, this is where I feel the most excited and the happiest. Once you have then you build the business around it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's really great listening to what you're saying on here, and that's actually helping me to sort of figure out where I'm going to start and, you know, how I'm going to conduct myself in the business.
Okay. Good. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, are your images up in level 4 yet?
No, not yet. I did a shoot the other day, so I wanted to retouch and do something very recent.
Okay.
So that I could actually get a critique on something recent. Yeah, so it'll be a little while yet, but I'm getting there. I'm actually retouching one today, so I'll be doing that.
Cool. I'm excited to see. Awesome.
Good.
What?
Sorry?
Ava.
Yes, Master.
There you go. Don't call me Master. It sounds way too much dominatrix. I like Lady better.
Actually, one of the questions that I had was dealing with marketing and social media. We haven't really gone over anything other than like website or in-person marketing and sales, and I was wondering if you can give us any insight.
For social media?
Yes.
So I can't really help you guys out at all with Google. It's a shame Ron left because he's like one of like, I swear, he's like the founding father of the Google community and +1 and all that. So he'd have a lot more insight, but the nice thing is that any of the masters that are in my group, I have sold them out to you and you can tag them in posts. Twitter, I don't do well with because I'm Italian and female, and as you can tell, I never have anything to say, so I cannot operate in 140 characters. I just can't do it. Like, it takes me an hour to create a Twitter post because I have to keep deleting to try to get it under. Hi, Bubby! So all of my clients and all of my business right now, it all comes from Facebook. That is my specific medium. And I'm not one of those people that has, you know, has 150,000 followers like some of the other people on Facebook. You know, I think some people hit that tipping point, and most of them kind of buy them, which I don't want to do because I may only have like 4,000 on my fan page, and I have like 6,000 or 7,000 following my personal page. But they are all people that requested to connect with me, so they're all like pre-qualified to buy my stuff. Facebook, I think, is probably the best, most ingenious way to market ever. Like, it's so easy. So when, especially with doing portraits, because your clients are coming in, the first thing I do when somebody sends me an email is I go stalk them on Facebook. You know, because like 8 out of 10 people in the world have a Facebook account now. Like, it's ridiculous. So 9 times out of 10, they have Facebook. I think I've only had like maybe 5 or 10 clients in the past 5 years that have not had a Facebook account. So as soon as they drop me a message, I go look them up and sleuth around and see if I can find them, and then judge them on how my my response email should be crafted based on what I see. And then also, you know, I'll also send the link to my makeup artist so that her and I can kind of work on them before they even come in. Like, I'm really stalky like that when it comes to my clients. But they don't mind, they like it. So the way that I work is it's just excitement. Again, like we were talking about the passion. So if you contact me, Ava, and you're like, I want to book a session and I'm going to bring my girlfriend Danielle and we wanted to come in and take some really hot photos because we are sexy bitches, then I would go, yes, yes, you are, and you're my kind of people. Let's do this thing. Let me tell you about my makeup artist, Sarah Maria, and Remy Montgomery, and you can talk to them. They'll be in with you all day. We'll do the session. We'll have a great time. Pack a suitcase full of everything. I want you to pack all your sexy shoes and all of your favorite accessories and sunglasses and jewelry and dresses and lingerie and stuff like that. Bring way too much stuff because I would rather you have too much than not enough. We'll do a photo shoot, then we'll go downstairs and we will look at them all on my big, beautiful presentation screen, and then good luck trying to narrow it down. Excellent. Yes, you're on the books. Let's do that. So the day of, I go, I'm so excited. I'm shooting Ava and Danielle today. And that's my status, and you're both tagged in it. Meanwhile, all of your friends are going, I'm so jealous. I wish I could get shot by that Lark chick. I bet you that was a ton of money. And I'm like, yes, yes, it was. And so people are, I'm already preconditioning them because they're already on the page going, ooh, what's she doing? What do you mean you're at this place getting shot? What kind of shot? By the time that you come down, usually, and I do this on purpose, usually the session starts between 1 and 3, so I'm usually done somewhere between 6 and 10 at night, depending on how many people are in and how easy of a session it is. So when they're done and we pick out the images, a lot of times I will have a favorite image that just looks beautiful. Like, you always get that one out of camera. That's the one that they select that I'll go in and just do a really quick touch up on. And you've seen some of my work. Like, some of it's like really touched up and very artsy, and some of it's like almost out of camera. It just depends. When I get the one that's out of camera, that's like the first one that goes up. So like the one on my Google page called Warm Honey, oh my God, that went like freaking viral over my social medias because she's just beautiful. You know, she did not make that session hard at all. She's just a gorgeous girl. But it's just her standing in the doorway, and there's beautiful sunlight falling on her, and it didn't take much from me at all to finish the shot. That one will go online, and it'll be online and she'll be tagged in it before she even gets home. So what does that do? It's on my page, but it's tagged to her wall. So what do people do? They go, oh my God, is that Ava? Really? And they click on it and they enlarge it. What does it do? It enlarges it and brings them back to my album, not their page. This is key. So they like it and they go, oh my God, you look so gorgeous. What is up, hot mama? And they're like, I wish I had pictures of me like that. And I go, what a coincidence. I wish that you had pictures of you like that too. We should discuss. And they'll go, oh, well, how much is a session? And I go, well, you know, sessions are $500. Our average client spends between $1,500 and $3,000. However, Ava just came in, so you can recommend Ava's name, and I'll throw an extra 8x10 into her box as a gift from you, and I will throw an extra 8x10 into your box as a gift from her for referring you. How's that sound? Great. When are you available? Tagging the photos, piece of cake. It is the quickest free market thing that you can possibly do. And they just go nuts, and it brings, from every single client, I get somewhere between 5 and 20 new followers. I don't get the chance to be friends with them all now because Facebook maxes you out, but I would rather them be connected, because on your fan pages, like on the business pages that they have, you can't tag people in them because every business would just like guerrilla market then and drive everybody nuts and spam them by tagging them in ads and photos and stuff. So I have the fan page, but I only have the fan page because I have 3,000 people on the fan page out of the 4,500 that I cannot get over to my personal page to save my life. So I would market off of your personal page. Show the work. You should be posting a new image every day. Your work is your portfolio. It is your resume. It is your call to action. It is your advertising. You don't have to sell anything. Anything. You don't have to say, oh, I'm doing a special Valentine's Day thing. Just put up a fucking hot photo of a couple. Let your work make the argument for you. It will sell you without you ever saying anything. Picture's worth 1,000 words. 1,000 words is a lot of marketing. A lot. That's all I do. All I do is put up photos. Now, I am now marketing more towards photographers because I teach at the Arcanum and I write books and stuff like that. So in the last year or two, I've kind of transitioned more to the position of teacher than I have artist, and a lot of the work that I'm shooting for are personal projects of mine. I don't work with clients very often. I don't turn them down when they come around because, you know, anybody that wants to write me a check for $3,500 is welcome to come by for a couple hours. I'm okay with that. But again, same thing that you want to do, that's where I want to be. Like, I systematically cut out everything. I stopped doing children, and I stopped doing seniors, and I stopped doing pets within the first year. I knew I didn't want to do that. You know, then I cut out weddings last year and said I'm not going to do weddings anymore. So all I was doing was the boudoir. And it's so funny because the more stuff I cut out, the more I book. It's ridiculous. The more I try to go, I don't want to do this anymore, I get booked more. Like, I've had more sessions so far this year than I did all of last year total combined, and we're halfway through the year. So I think they know. Like, they know, like, there's like limited stock left and they're trying to get in, which I'm totally cool with. So I'm moving away from that. And again, same thing, like, you hear the other photographers, the others, and they'll go, oh, well, they make their money teaching now because they can't make their money as a studio. Well, we don't get asked to teach until we're making money as a studio, so go yourself. I'm going to have to, like, delete and edit half of this thing. You know, but it's totally different. Like, you have this mentality in a lot of the other expos and teaching genres. That is why I really, really love the Arcanum, because everybody's so nice. Like, everybody's so helpful. All of the other masters want to jump in on each other's cohorts and see what they're up to and borrow ideas and give inspiration and feedback. And then that just comes down to the apprentices and lets us build that on, like, a ground level. Like, I really do think that when it comes to it, that you guys being, like, the maiden voyagers of the first thing are really going to set the bar so freaking high that we're not allowed to have anybody but awesome people. Like, you know, people that aren't our kind of caliber of people will just like get hives and have to leave. Like they'll just have an allergic reaction to this place because it just won't take negativity. Like it's just so good with the quality. And if you can take that energy that you guys have in here and how you guys are in the chats and how you guys are in your community, and you can start putting that on your personal Facebook page, like that energy just draws people to you. And it'll draw your clients to you as well. So if you're just posting work up that you love and you're saying why you love it, like if you notice on mine, because I'm catering to you guys now and I'm coming from the standpoint of a teacher, every time I post an image, what does my image have? It's titled, it has something personal about, you know, how I created it because I'm a writer and I like to include that, and then it has all the stats for how the image was created, what camera I shot, what lens it was, what the aperture and the ISO and the ISO and the shutter speed were, where the lights were, what kind of lighting I used, you know, how long I spent retouching it, what software I used, so that people can look at it and they can just adapt that. Now, what I didn't know, I knew who Trey was before he asked me to come be a part, but what I didn't know was that he does the same thing with landscapes. Like, he is always teaching all of this retouching thing. It makes everybody else in his genre of the industry just furious because he gives it all away for free and they're trying to sell it, you know? But look at how successful he is. You know that he has more followers on Google than Britney Spears right now? Let's just put that in perspective. Some landscape photographer, some random guy who went to a Denver photo walk in orange yoga pants and has those like hipster glasses, has more followers than one of the top pop artists in the entire world. He's like in the top 10 of everybody in the world, every well-known celebrity, and he's there. Why? Because he gives it away. And does it look like he's suffering financially or logistically or experience-wise at all from that? The more this man does and the more this man gives away, the more invitations he has to go do amazing things, the more beautiful pictures we start seeing from all of these rare places in the world. Meanwhile, everybody else is still telling him, you can't run a business that way. I think he's still going to keep getting on the plane because I do. You know, if you want people to really resonate with you, the same way that we were talking, Ava, about what's in it for them, you have to do that with your customers too. What's in it for them? You want them to pay attention, you want them to come back, you want them to book on social media. What is in your post for them to make them pay attention? You know what built 2,000 of my followers on my first personal page? Have you guys ever seen my Wall of Shame album on Facebook? So yeah. I used to get really, really annoyed because I would have so many people, and you can see it on Google too now that I'm starting to share images. These guys had like the IQ of slugs, and they could not figure out that I was a photographer. They thought I was the girl. Whatever image I posted, they thought it was me. So I would get nothing but comments on my photos and creepy messages about, "You're so hot, baby. I love you." And the thing that would really kill me is that I would have like 36 notifications, and it would be this guy liking all the photos. And they would be a picture of Ava, and then a picture of Danielle, and then a picture of Sarah. And, you know, like, obviously very different people. Like, I have Maggie, who's 6'2", and just this beautiful, dark-skinned, brown-eyed, gorgeous, like, African goddess. And then I have Son, who's, like, Vietnamese and Filipino and, you know, totally different person. And then I have Rachel, who's blonde and blue-eyed, and you can't get more pin-up all-American. And I have curvy girls and short girls and tall girls and really thin girls and, like, different ages from 18 to 50. And they would go through and they would, like 50 of them, and they'd be like, "You're so beautiful in all your photos." And I'm like, I know, it's because I'm a shapeshifter, and it really helps out with my modeling career that I can change my skin tone and hair color at will just by blinking. And they'd be like, "Oh, I have like an aversion to stupidity. Like, it just makes me want to vomit." And so I started this wall of shame where I would just screen capture these conversations I was having with people. Like, the one guy's like, dude, don't you know who I am? I'm like I don't even know, like Lil Weezy's, latest album or whatever, and you should respect that. And what's your name? And I was like, did you just ask me what my name was? Because you had to click on my name in order to message me. Like, and I'm like, obviously I'm the Tooth Fairy. And he's like, what? He's like, funny. What do you mean you're the Tooth Fairy? And I'm like, no, I'm like legit. Like, I'm the Tooth Fairy. We love rappers. All those gold teeth, gold mine, payday for us. What's up? And like, I would just talk nonsense with these people. And people thought it was so funny that they started sharing these, and that started bringing people back. And I built 2,000 followers that follow every single photo I post now, and it had nothing to do with photography. Because it was humorous, and that's what was in it for them. I wasn't asking them to buy anything. I wasn't, sales pitching anything. I was just amusing them. And then once they got there and they were like, oh, this chick's pretty funny, then they would go, oh, this chick's pretty funny, and she takes really hot photos of naked girls. I could totally get into this, And then other girls would come in and go, oh, my God, she takes these really gorgeous pictures. I want photos like that. And so it just kind of brought them in, and that was like the opening of the funnel. But eventually, like, you got into it, and the more you go down, and it trickles down, and I only need, I have like 7,000, 8,000 people on my personal page. If I'm only going to do 5 sessions a month, that's 60. That's like less than like 1% of them. That's all I need to buy. Like, it's just a numbers game. Like, you guys are not actually booking less than I am. You're booking less numbers, but you're probably not booking a lower percentage than I am. Maybe a little bit for those of you that are just getting started and still learning, but let's say that 1% of everybody that you talk to is going to actually buy and book a session. Well, if you only have 100 followers on your page, that's one person. If you have 1,000 followers on your page, that's 10 people. If you have 5,000 people, then all of a sudden you have 50 sessions for the year. It's just a numbers thing. You just have to get them in the door. Does that make sense? Tag your photos. Tag your photos and show the work every day. That's it. That's all I do. And don't sales pitch. And don't send repetitive. It's more a don't. You want to be successful on your social media. Don't send people the blanket invitations. Don't send out 500 invitations to all of your friends to like your fan page. And here's the thing is that you don't even have to do that because they're probably connected on your personal page because you can only send the invite to friends to begin with. So why do you need them on your fan page? That's an ego stroke. It's not that it's helping your business. It probably isn't. And then if you're posting on your personal page and your fan page, then you're just like spamming them from both sides. So don't worry about it. And the thing is that like people start their fan page and it makes them feel better to have fans. That's really all that it is. You want to say, I don't even know this person. They're just a fan of mine because my work is so good. And it's that little bit of ego and that little bit of confidence boost in going, somebody that knows nothing about me, that isn't obligated through nepotism or, connection to support me, just really loves what I do. They're a fan of me, and that's validation for you. The problem is that if you really love someone and everything about that person, you're like, oh my God, this person's so talented, I love them so much. What do you want to do? You want to be BFFs. You want to sit on a Google Hangout with them. You want to go out to drink with them. You want to hang out and have dinner and discuss life and all the mysteries of the universe and why they're so awesome and how they're your bestie. So it's a reverse mentality because all of these people are trying to get fans, and meanwhile the people that are the really devoted fans, all they want to do is be considered friends, which is why you will never, all the time, all I say is don't even bother liking my fan page. Just come over and follow on my personal page. I wish I could accept you. It's Facebook's fault. Go write them a letter. But you can still click the follow button, and I have it set so that you can do everything my friends can do because I would always rather have friends than fans. When you put that connection between you and someone else, that's it. That connection will sell everything you needed to do. Just interact with your people. Every time somebody comments, like, you know, it gets to the point now where like there's 50 or 60 comments. I can't comment after every single one, but it only takes like a minute to go down and just like, plus one, plus one, plus one, and then at the bottom go, oh my God, that was so funny. I loved your comment, Ava. And that little bit, if you really follow someone and love them and they are one of your idols or you're in love with their work and they take the time out of the day, especially when you know they have thousands of other people messaging them and they single you out and say your name, then you can connect with them, and that just strengthens the bond. So don't send blanket things out. If you send out like a general list of you know, 100 or 200 people that's like, go like my page, then you're spamming. There's nothing in it for them. It's just for you, and it's not really serving you anyway because they're not going to buy anything. Don't sell like an infomercial. It's not a commercial, and they won't buy the what. So don't say, you know, oh, Valentine's Day weekend is coming up. Come get some sexy portraits done, and, you know, we're running our special where it's 25% off, or you can get, you know, the session and your 20-page album for $500. That's all what? And that's the same thing that everybody else that's competing with you is offering. Okay? But last year I booked 12 sessions because I figured out who my people were and why they would want to book a session. So I went, okay, one of three things is going on right now. Either you're happily married and you're thinking about getting a session for your guy, or you're recently not happily together with someone, in which case you're probably feeling a little bit bitter and not liking Valentine's Day, or you're just happily single and rocking it and you couldn't care less, and God bless all the people that are in happy relationships. It's just not for you right now. So how do you sell to those three demographics? Well, it's really easy. You go, hey, if you are in a really sexy relationship right now and you're looking to add a little va-va-voom to it, come on in for a session. We're doing our Valentine's Day get-together. We have lots of red all over everything because red is the color of passion and lust and sex and all things sexy. And you can come in, get some pictures, and remind him why he picked you. Oh, but you girls over here who are recently single, you should come in too, because when he goes and checks your Facebook, and he's not just going to see the image of his ex, he's going to see the image of the girl that got away. You other girls over here that are just loving the single life and rocking it, you don't need to take pictures for anybody but yourself. Come in and just celebrate the fact that you're feeling feminine and sexy and that you are owning the world in your 5-inch stilettos. 3 very different messages, and that was it. That was the whole message. It was worded a little bit more eloquently because I had time to like delete and go back and retype it so that it sounded well. But that was it. I didn't say anything about the product, the session, what it included, and I booked more people off of that sales pitch than I had the past 3 Valentine's Days in a row because it was a why.
Do you have any suggestions for blogs and the difference in what we would put in those blogs than what we would put on, say, our Facebook page?
Show the photos. That's it. It really is that simple. Blogs, you know, blogs are the one thing that I'm going to tell you to do as I say and not as I do because I'm terrible about updating them just because I'm so busy now. I think that blogs can be a really good avenue for you if you'd like to update and you're devoted to that. The bottom line is that whatever marketing path you're going to take online or otherwise, if you don't do it naturally and it's a struggle for you to do it and it becomes a chore, then cut it out. There are a million other ways to reach your people. So for me, I don't do Twitter. I have Twitter linked to my fan page so that it auto updates because I never ever update it. I think I've put maybe 10 things on Twitter. You know, but I have my Facebook page and I have my Instagram linked to it so that it's still upgrading. So the people that want to follow me there can follow me there. Same thing. Like if blogging comes naturally to you and you like sitting down and writing, then sit down and write. If you don't like to sit down and write, then just put the images up and let them speak for themselves. If you don't want to even get on the blog and you can't even remember your password, then let the blog go. Recover the password, delete the account, and be done with it. you know, and just have them go to your website. You don't need one, especially with social media these days. Like, you know, for me, my blog is my Facebook. Like, I share the images on there. I can write whatever I want to say. Google too. Like, what are they? They're glorified blogs that will get way more interaction and social connection with people than your blog will anyway. So, you know, if it works for you, like Vanessa Joy is, she's a wedding photographer out of New Jersey, near me, and a friend of mine. She is a brilliant blogger, and she does it like it is her job. So if you're looking to blog, I would pick 5 blogs that you really love the layout and the design of, and look and see what the common threads are between all of them, and then base it off that. Blogs you should be updating at least once or twice a week, if not every day. You know, the bottom line is that before you get talked into anything, because I'm really bad about this, somebody goes, oh, I really want to connect with you on LinkedIn. Oh, I really think you should get on 500 Pixels. Oh, you should have a DeviantArt account. Like, oh, you should be on Model Mayhem. And I still fight with this because I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right. And I go and I put on the accounts and I create them, and then I never, ever go back to them again. So before you agree and go, okay, I'm going to start a fan page, I'm going to start a Twitter, I'm going to start a blog, blah, 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 ask yourself why. Why am I doing this, and what do I hope to gain by it? Because if it's just I'm doing it because everybody else is doing it, you know, what's the saying about, like, if everybody was jumping off a bridge? It's the same thing. Danny, I love that you're doing behind the scenes for YouTube. See, things you could actually be saying to me instead of having side conversations. She doesn't love me anymore.
I love you. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I really want to start up a YouTube channel. I mean, I already have, but I want to make it a little bit more constant. And, I mean, you see a lot of vloggers on YouTube who have so many followers now that, like, people feel like they have a connection to them. That's like, oh, I'm going to go watch my best friend today do what they do, you know. So I think that that's something that would be really useful for me.
Are you designing these for clients or for other photographers?
Well, mainly potential clients. Okay. It's sort of, yeah, to create, yeah, a relationship with the people who are going to be, you know, hanging out with me, and possibly, yeah, wanting stuff, like wanting photos from me.
Yeah, I think that that's a brilliant thing. I think photos sell everything and video sells everything else. I did that as well. There's actually one of them, if you go into the library and look up, it's like a behind-the-scenes shoot with Lark. That's the shortened version. And then if you go to my YouTube page, there's like a 13-minute like full feature. Same thing. Like, when people ask me about booking a session now, I don't even send them the details. I just send them that video. And they get to watch it, and they get excited because they can see what they're going to be doing behind the scenes. And there's like all kinds of fun stuff. Like the session that's the behind the scenes for was really fun because we made the dress. She's in this beautiful ball gown. We set up this huge bonfire behind her. I had my husband actually carry this gigantic cherry sleigh bed all the way down the stairs and out into the middle of the yard, and it's done in time lapse. So you can see how hard he's hoofing to get up and down to set up this freaking bed for me. You know, and the kids are carrying the Trinity gown, and there's like all these different things, but then you see me shooting behind the scenes, and the clients freaking love it because they've never done anything like that before. If you can create behind the scenes kind of videos and things like that, oh my God, I think you could make a killing, especially you, Danielle, because like you're hot too. So like good looking girls on video, like instantly like up the ante. Sorry, boys.
Yeah, no, I really want to make it really good. I mean, it's hard too because, I mean, I'm the one holding the camera, so it means I have to have someone out there holding the video camera. But no, I really do think that it's a connection that I need to make with people, like make them feel like I'm their best friend. And they'll want to hang out and have the fun time that we do on shoots.
Yeah, Morgan's got a point. You have the accent. You have the accent and you have boobs. Like, you're golden.
Wow, thank you. No, but I don't have an accent here. That's the problem.
well,
but when I move to London, I will. I'll have the Aussie accent in London.
Oh my goodness. Then you're going to have an Australian and an English accent. And then you can come over to the United States and everyone will just throw money at you because those are our two favorites.
Everyone in your cohort will just start hiring you to do all of the narration.
Yep.
Yay! I can do that.
Yep.
Give me some lines and I'll do that.
That's awesome. Done. She just became the official narrator for House Lark. I love it.
All right, I'll do that. I promise.
So,
I'll come and visit you all.
It's I'm working on that. It's about 1 a.m. so we've been going for like 3 hours. You guys are just monsters. I love it. I haven't done like a 3-4 hour like class in a while. It's really fun.
I'm glad I could join this time.
I know, me too. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. I just got a little notice too. I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So I got a little notice that let me know. It was like, by the way, Danielle's 30-day trial is up. You should check in with her and make sure she's not going to bail on you because you're not doing your job. I think the wording might have been slightly different, but it was something like that.
No, I'm coming back. It's okay. Although I do have to pay it on my birthday, so not sure how cool I am with that.
That's awesome. I'm going to call Curtis and personally tell him that just for you, it's got to be moved like 1 day ahead or back so that it's not on your birthday because that's terrible.
It doesn't matter. I was prepared. But I'm staying. I'm definitely staying. I'm loving it here.
Good, good. That makes me really happy because like now I'm starting to like, now I'm like, oh, now it's getting serious. Now people actually have to commit because before it's like a 30-day trial. Like anybody will do something for 30 days if it's free. And I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, maybe I'm not doing well enough as a master. I gotta make sure I do something really fun. I gotta think of something really cool because I don't want to lose my people because I love you all. And then I was like, I shouldn't say this on live recorded either, but then I was like, maybe I can start my own community. That way I can keep them even if they're not there. That bond's there now. Like, I can't do it. You had to stay forever. I'm like, everybody's going to get to like level 19, and I'm not going to elevate anybody to 20 because then you get to go on to another master. Although
we'll probably still be hanging out anyway.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that you guys will always have like a place in the cohort, so you can come back and like talk back. But the really fun thing with being the first one is that by the time you guys get to level 20, they'll level me up as well. So technically, when you guys level to 20 and you go into the level 20 antechamber to get picked up again, I can just grab you again and be like, no, stay mine. And you guys can be like, no, I'm sick of you. It's been like months. I've had enough. I want to go in another master's thing. And I'll be like, and they'll say no. And then I'll get that little sad email that tells me that I was denied and that I shouldn't take it personally, or maybe I should, and I'll feel bad about it. And then I'll just go back in and add you again until you submit. That's my game plan. So yeah.
I've got one
Good.
more question.
This is really fun.
You got the seminar?
Alright, so I think that's all I have for you right now, unless you guys have some other questions. Morgan, I'm like
go
super
vacuum the whole house.
We're all birthday partying it up, and you were like, no, I just want to hang out with you guys.
Oh, Morgan, it's your birthday here already.
Yay!
Yay!
Happy birthday, Morgan!
We don't need to do the Trey Ratcliffe sing birthday to Morgan. That turned out poorly.
Happy birthday.
Maybe we just need to like do it around.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Morgan. Happy birthday to you.
That's pretty good. Woo!
Why, thank you, Ava.
I'm more excited about Ava singing about Morgan's birthday than I am about his birthday right now. But I'm still very excited it's your birthday.
Well, good.
How old are you?
I will be 28.
It's oh well, it's not 1 o'clock for you. It's what, like 11 there?
10.
10.
Yeah.
Ugh, you West Coaster. I'm moving out to the West Coast. I need more hours in the day. I'm aware that's not how it works.
Hot and dry.
Yep. I'm sick of the East Coast. So in 2 hours, how old did you say you were? I'm getting
I'll be
tired.
28.
Okay, so you're 28. Aw, you're so young. That's so
Aw.
cute. So in 2-3 hours, then when it is officially your birthday, go and give yourself 28 points on that awesome little chart thingy that you made. Which I gotta be honest, I haven't even gotten a chance to like go really like check out and see how it works.
It doesn't work at all then. I think Joni had a question still, right?
Go ahead.
Did you change your marketing once you stopped your weddings and went on to your glamour? Did you change any marketing apart from your Facebook or website?
No, I just took them down. All the weddings came off of my website. I think actually if you go to my personal Facebook, I think they're off of my fan page, but I think my personal page still actually has my wedding albums. Just because, again, like all my clients are tagged in them, and a lot of them call me for boudoir sessions, and they call me for maternity and other things that I was still doing. So I didn't take them down because those photos matter to them, and you know, it's usually their people commenting on them. So if I tag a photo of you, you know, it'll be your friends and your sister and your mom and, you know, like all of those people commenting on it and liking it. So that's still really good marketing because you never know who's going to come across it. And then I just say I don't do weddings anymore unless you want to pay me $10,000 to show up, and then I'll at least consider it. So, you know, like I do still make exceptions for certain people, like different clients that I've had in the past, or, you know, like if I shot one wedding and her sister's getting married and I've done 3 weddings in the family, then I'll usually make an exception. But they're also willing to pay me a lot of money to show up for the day, so it's worth it for me on both accounts. As far as marketing materials go, less is more. This is it. This is everything that I have for marketing materials. And I think if I open this, it actually displays backwards on the screen for you with all the text and stuff, and you probably can't see it. But like basically, it's like it's a 5x5. I got these ones done at Black River Imaging, and the first page is just the details of the shoot. So it says Jessica Lark's signature intimacy collection, because that sounds like it should be expensive. And it includes hairstyling and makeup artistry, your photo session, a massage, and hors d'oeuvres for 2. Bring your friend, your mom, your sweetie, complimentary. Sometimes they bring them just as a partner in crime, just to witness what they're doing, and sometimes that means that 2 of them show up to get photos. I'm fine with that because that always doubles the sales for me in the room. And then it says $500. Your investment is placed towards wall portraits, reliquary boxes, or cinematics ordered the day of your session. So basically the way that mine works is if you call me, Joni, and you say, hey, I want to book a session, you put $500 down to book the studio for the day. I take that, and then that enables me to book my makeup artist and the massage therapist for the day and have a little bit of money aside, and it's non-refundable. Now, if they call me and they go, I can't make it, you know, my kid fell and broke his leg, or there's this or that or whatever, I'll always move the date. I don't just, you know, bad business practice to not work with it. But if they're just like, no, I changed my mind, I don't want to have it, like it just depends on how far out it is. Because if it's the day before, sorry about you, I held the studio for 6 weeks for you. The second one is all of my sales. Is this displaying backwards for you? You guys probably can't read that, huh?
Can't read it. I can see the picture.
Okay, so yeah, like again, the pictures sell the images. So I picked 3 images that coincided as a collection because they were all kind of the black and white kind of thing. So the first one is just, this is what's included in your session, $500. And then when they come in, if they book a $2,000 package when after they see their images before they walk out the door, they're only putting another $1,500 down because that initial $500 goes towards that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But if they walk out that door and they go, I don't know, I want to think it over, I'm not really sure, and they go home and they call me the next day, then they're writing me another check for $2,000, not for $1,500. So that $500, it's a buy it now lever. That $500 only counts towards what they purchase if they buy it that day while they're in the studio. As soon as they cross the threshold, that's it. They're done. The second page in the middle is all of my products. Everything that they can purchase fits on this little 5x5 card. Nice and neat and very clean. So the top is the reliquary boxes. Those are my Fineo boxes. They're beautiful, you know, beautiful bound books, and they get to come in and they get to pick what kind of textures they want. 10 images, 15 images, or 20 images. The Cinematic Seductions film is my video boudoir, and then I have assorted wall prints. I very, very, very rarely sell wall prints because no matter how good the images look, there's just some people you don't want seeing a 20 by 30 print of you in a G-string. So the boxes are a little bit more discreet, and if they come in and they have some really beautiful portraits or stuff, they can put those out on little table easels when mom and dad come over, and then they can put them away and they can put the sexy nudes up before their husband gets home from work, kind of thing. The third page just has all of my contact info. So it just says like my name and my phone number, my website, the address for the studio, that kind of stuff. So really, this little 5x5 is everything you need to know about ordering. That's it. And the whole back of it is just photos.
Oh.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Joni, less is more. Website. Website. Less is more.
How important is branding?
If I say jewelry, blue box, you say?
Jared?
Anybody?
Tiffany's.
Sorry.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Why did I know that?
Yeah. Points for you, Morgan. I'm going to give you 2 points, but I want you to take them from Ava's total for ruining my example. If I say, okay, so let's play a game. Each of you are going to get a point for every one you get right if you buzz in first. Choosing moms, choose.
Jeff.
Okay. I don't know who got that. I couldn't tell. I think it was David. Soda, red can, white letters.
Dr.
Oh.
Pepper.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
it is.
Yeah. Good for you, Morgan. I'm gonna give what else? Somebody give me one.
Every kiss begins with.
K. Right? Do you get it? Ava, how important is branding?
Very.
Very, very. So there's 2 different things is that, you know, you can brand based on words and taglines and songs and like the little ditties and stuff that they do, or you can brand based on colors. You can brand based on different pieces of music. Like in my book, there's a whole page that says, if my studio was, if my art was, and it's just a list of things. Like if my art was if my brand was a color, if my brand was a song, if my brand was a piece of candy, if my brand was a month of the year, a season, a gender, if it was boy's name, a girl's name, if it was a genre of music, if it was a color, you know, like it just goes on and on. It's like a whole page of things. And then from that, answering those questions was how I got my brand. Because, like, for me, the colors were burgundy and chocolate and cream. For food, it was chocolate and raspberries and, like, decadent fruits and chocolates. So I have chocolate, raspberry cream candies, which I love, but it also follows the color scheme. You'll also see a lot of those colors in a lot of the textures and the fabrics and stuff in the studio But if you look at my work, you'll see a lot of those colors show up in the way that I retouch too. Like those are just colors that resonate with me. You know, I really love pearls. I think pearls are very feminine. If you look at the pictures in my studio, there are just chains of pearls hung all over my antique vanity. I also tend to use the pearl finish on all my marketing materials because I think it looks glittery and girly, and for me that says expensive. I just like the way that it looks. So, you know, you can start thinking about things like that, like what does my brand smell like? You know, and then that you can have perfumes or potpourri around your studio that smell like that. And, you know, you have this like memory retention where if people are coming in and every time they're coming into you, your studio smells like vanilla and they're seeing you on a regular basis and then they walk into their grandmother's house and she's got vanilla scented candles, it'll just subconsciously bring them to you. And you won't even know why. Like a lot of times it doesn't even register, you know? Same thing, like if there's a specific song playing every time or a specific kind of music or specific colors, like that's why we think blue box for jewelry and we go right to Tiffany's because Tiffany's is known for that little blue box with that white ribbon, you know? It's also why people can piggyback off of other people's marketing. So we know a red soda can with white letters is Coca-Cola. So all of the knockoff brands that are pretty much going to liquefy all of your intestines and like the little generic brands, they'll do it in a very similar script font with a red can and white letterings because subconsciously you still think Coke even though you know it's a different brand. So even though they're not quality, they associate your mind with something that is. Interesting, huh? So yes, start working on your brand. But your brand, I think your brand should follow your artwork and your vision too. If you guys, the interesting thing about what you guys do is that other businesses brand themselves for business. Danny's saying she feels like she needs help to brand herself. So that's the thing is that you guys are artists. The work comes from you. So start thinking about who it is that you are. You know, think of it almost like if you were putting together a dating profile on like an online site for dating. What are the things that you want your clients to think? Because that's really what you're doing. Really, what do you do when you're dating? You put your absolute best version of self forward and you go, here are all the things that are charming and wonderful and great about me. And this is why you should like me and date me, and hopefully things will go well and we'll end up in a relationship and get married and have 2.5 kids in a picket fence. Yay! It's the same thing. You're going, here's all the things you should love about me, and hopefully they're going to be appealing enough to you that you're going to book me and pay 4 figures for a sales session and make me a lot of money and have some beautiful pictures in it. It's the same kind of theory. So what is it about you that's charming, that's attractive, that's enticing above and beyond everybody else that's flirting with them for their wallets? What is it about you as an artist? You know, my work is edgy. Danny, I can build your brand all day. You already have it in your imagery with that whimsical dreamlike sequence and the fact that you do these composites and the levitation and stuff. You have this sexy, you know, visually amplified fairy tale thing going on in a lot of your work that allows people to come in and remember how to believe in fairy tales and play dress up.
I think I also, though, want to create something as well on top of that is to make women feel empowered as well. Like, I'm not into boudoir or anything like that, but I want to do, like, I'm interested in really strong women as well, bit badass, you know, so yeah, I want to sort of build that into it as well somehow. I don't really know how, though, yet.
Start with the images. Build a session first. And then, you know, put a focus group together. You know, like, wouldn't it be great if you had like 19 really awesome peers that were all in a close-knit community with you that could give you feedback on that? That would be so cool. Somebody should invent something like that.
Yeah, they should.
So, like, go and do a session that says, like, badass, really empowered women, and then take some of the images and put them up in the art gallery for, you know, in-house Lark, and be like, these are the images. I want to build my brand around this. What do you think this says? And let them feed back off of it, just like they did in level 1 when we did the image that defines us. You know, and let them see what kind of words that they put to it and what the images say to them, and you'll start to echo those sentiments as you're seeing the comments roll in and as they're talking back and forth about it, and you'll go, yeah, that, and you'll go, no, that's not quite it, and that will help hone in, and then you'll have, you know, 10 to 50 words that are building around that brand, and then you can pick and choose which ones are the top ones and how you want to put that together and build that session. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, no, it does. That's great. I will sort that out.
Cool. Good stuff. Morgan, I have no idea what your brand is.
Neither do I. I have a website. You'll hear about it in level 4, I guess. So.
I will. Do you ever submit your images?
Yeah, I know.
What?
David just beat me too.
It's true, I did.
You know, David and Tom are always giving you a hard time about being the favorite too, but I gotta tell you, they're trumping you right now. You're slacking. It's because of all the extra credit work you do. But that's only gonna get you so far.
Yeah, I know.
How dare you do all this other stuff and not submit your images and then come in here?
Yeah, Joni was saying, well, you got to get this birthday spreadsheet going now because I need to know when everybody's birthday is, and you got to get the calendar set up. And
well, that's what you get for being a show-off.
Yeah.
That's why I don't really do anything. No expectation of me means I can kick back and just focus on my work. You did it to yourself, man. Just saying.
I did.
Yep. So you should take a lesson from David, and take a lesson from you. And then hopefully you guys will even each other out.
If we combine forces, we make one very functional person.
Yes. So therefore, since he's so committed to your success, he has now volunteered himself for any extra work that you need help with.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember those words, but maybe.
Suddenly, I don't know that I can stay in this
One
cohort.
does not
I might
correct
jump
the
over to
master.
Clifford.
Well, my 30-day trials is up. I gotta go.
No, that's it. Didn't you have like 25 days left on that? Yeah, but she started like asking me to do stuff. Awesome. Morgan, what is your brand? What do you love?
I love taking photos, but I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I love taking photos of, to be honest. Like, I love doing landscapes when I do landscapes, and I've been doing more portrait stuff lately, and I'm starting to like that a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in that, I don't exactly know what it is that I like. I know that I like taking photos, and I know that I like kind of doing post-processing stuff, but I haven't
quite got there yet?
Yeah. So I know it's what I want to do, and I know I enjoy it, but it's whether or not it's I'm gonna quit my job next week and kind of like just go full force into it, or if it's I'm still learning and I still want to get a little more like into it before I decide to do that. That's kind of where I'm at. So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think when we do go through your critique, one, I think even if you're struggling on a subconscious level, you will gravitate in your 5 choices towards what you want your focus to be in. I think when we get to go through them and talk a little bit more about that you'll start to hone in on that. But again, same thing, like, I don't have a problem with you not knowing what it is you want to do, or even if it's something that you want to do full-time. Like,
yeah.
I do really well when people go, yes, I want to focus on this and I want all my income to come, then we can move towards the goal. But if you're like, yeah, I mean, I like doing it. It's really fun, and making some money on the side is good. But I don't know if this is what I want to do. Like, that's cool too. Like, as long as you're enjoying it and you're creating it from a place of passion and not a place of necessity, like, we're good, and you get to stay.
Yes.
You've been doing so many spreadsheets and stuff that I can't / it's not even that I can't, it's that I don't want to do it.
Well, I couldn't delete
you
them.
pretty much bought your way in. So, if you delete them, I will give you negative 500 merits, and I will come to California and I will Google Hangout publicly while I lash you.
Who says my location pin is accurate?
I think you highly underestimate a woman's ability to find out anything.
Oh no, I'm fairly open on the Google Plus, and apparently since you stalk your clients, I'm more than certain.
Oh yeah, I already have
all of
Instagram. And we're connected on Facebook, and
oh yeah.
You're connected in a Facebook relationship with your girlfriend, so I can go stalk hers too. I'll find you. Don't worry about it.
You have a very particular set of skills.
Yeah, how's it go? FBI agent has nothing on a jealous woman. So, yeah, my clients like being stalked by me, though. I'm a really friendly stalker. I even leave flowers and little notes.
Yeah, I get
so do regular
every
stalkers.
time I do that.
What'd you say?
I said I get restraining orders every time I do that.
Oh.
I leave little flowers, I leave little notes, I'm a friendly stalker, I go to jail.
Some people are so unappreciative.
Right? Rude.
I just love that this
I
is
give and I give and I give.
Are you kidding? You know what? This is going to sell. This is the one that I'm going to put out when people are like, oh, you're considering me for your cohort? I'm going to be like, yes, go spend 4 hours and watch this. At the end of it, you will know whether or not you belong with my people. We'll see. I can always delete it later.
Yeah, Joni, I just got an email saying my 30-day trial was almost up.
Dun, dun, dun.
So.
I must be having one too. I haven't got mine yet.
Hey, listen.
Oh, that's my turn.
Listen, if it ends up not being for you, that's fine. But don't just drop out. Say goodbye. Don't be like, I'm not paying, so I got to sneak out in the night. It's not like a I didn't pay my rent thing. Just be like, see ya.
No, I'd sneak out and not pay my rent
because
first.
you guys are all crossing the first half sphere, and you're getting to the point that all of those merit points are starting to add up and mean something, and it would be a real shame if you didn't find out what they are, because they're really freaking cool.
I'm not going to drop out, just don't want them to boot me out because I didn't get my notification and I haven't paid anything.
No, they won't, and even if they do, they'll put you back in, and really, you don't leave the Google community until I remove you, which I should do if you're not my cohort, and which we'll have a conversation about if I suddenly have an empty slot, but still, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. So, look at how pale my arms are compared to my chest. That's not good at all. I have, some wicked, farmer's tan going on. It's not good. Very professional master talk here. The worst one I got, I went down to Texas, and we had a convertible, and I had the seatbelt on, and then when I got back to the bathroom and looked, I had this white stripe going all the way across me with little red triangles just in places. It was really bad. It's the most odd tan lines I've ever had.
I saw a good one from a girl studying during the summer, and she went out to eat breakfast and had some shorts on and had a bowl in her lap and a spoon on her leg, and she fell asleep. And so she woke up with the outline of a spoon on her thigh, and then 2 half circles on her, right on her thighs. Oh, that was
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. After being in Alaska for 2 years, whenever we didn't get sunlight for such huge amounts of time, and whenever it was sunny out, it was barely, it was cloudy always. I am so freaking transparent right now that I refuse to take off a shirt because I will blind everyone around me. it is just horrible, just white, just zero pigment.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's all you got to do. Like the next time you're in Alaska, you're safe. If anything ever decides to chase you, you can just strip and you'll just blend right in with the snow. Where'd he go?
Right, exactly.
Actually, I'm kind of jealous. That makes your own
new
reflector.
name for you in there somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
That was a great comment, Ava.
What was that, Ava?
I said I was kind of jealous because that makes him his own reflector.
That's how I save money on equipment. You know, I can go buy new gear. I'll just take my shirt off. Screw you guys buying stuff.
That's awesome.
Joke's on you.
Yep. In fact, I'm gonna award you 5 points just for the visual I had of you doing that.
Awesome.
I don't know what you would actually title that. Like 5 points for
being a pasty white boy.
Yeah.
5 points for
right,
rocking
like
Alaskan tan.
I like 5 points for being a pasty white boy.
Well, out of curiosity,
that's going to be the end of it when you graduate, like level 20. Each of you are going to get to look back and put a list of the most unique points you earned for something random, because there's going to be some good ones.
Indeed.
I love it. So Dave, are your images up for level 4? Are we ready to go?
I just posted those during the video. So you probably saw me popping in and out of the party at the bottom there. For some reason, my computer didn't like that I was uploading images while split screening a video, so it disconnected me. So I had to join back in.
Nice. Okay, so you're ready to go. When are you free? What's your timing like?
Anytime after. Well, I guess it'd be 8:30. Well, basically after 9 o'clock your time.
What time is it for you right now?
I'm an hour off of you.
Okay.
It's 12:25 where I am.
Okay. I can't do tomorrow, but how about, what's today? Oh my God, it's Wednesday already. How about Friday? No, well, yeah, okay, well, it's Wednesday because it's after midnight for me here, but
sure.
How about Thursday?
Sure, yeah, Thursday's fine.
Okay, all right, we'll make it official in the level 4 group then for the community. Who else do I have? I did everybody else in here except for Morgan. Morgan hasn't even put his images up. He's about to lose his gold star. I'm going to give it to one of the other boys.
Doing it right now.
Are you?
Well, I have 3 selected, and I'm sorting through all my other images to try and find the other 2.
Okay,
so.
Well, we're going to forgive you, but only because it's your birthday.
Well, good.
Okay. So yeah, so let's get you up as well, and then we have a couple more, and then we have some of the people that are a couple of levels behind and kind of playing catch up. So I've taken to harassing them privately and sending them messages, so hopefully we'll be seeing them more. One of 2 things is going to happen: either like it's going to put a fire under them and they're going to catch up, or they're going to leave. So. All right, I think we're talked out into the point of delirium, and I have been an absolutely terrible mother because I hear the sound of cartoons, which means one of my children is still up in the playroom watching TV. School's out, so until next time. Yeah.
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 Awesome. I'm going to get emails tomorrow from the headmasters about this broadcast. So I hope you enjoyed it and you have enjoyed your time with me while it existed.
Well, we've made it long enough, so maybe they won't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
this is going to be great to potty talk. Let's just stop here. We've watched enough.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go and put it on tomorrow and just leave it in the background because I'm gonna post it to the actual library and it'll be the first like 3.5 hour video ever because they tell us to keep them around 5 minutes. And I messaged them a couple of times and was like, well, how do you feel about 10? What about 20? Like, but with the exception of the critiques, our videos should be like 4 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to message them and upload it and be like, I think I might have ran just a little bit over what the recommended length was. But I feel like the caliber and quality of the video totally warranted the fact that it is almost double the length of full feature films.
Well, see, you had 3 masters in here, so that's 5, 10, 15 minutes is probably, you know.
Which is exactly how much I have, plus 2 to 3 hours.
I would mention something about time zones, that you started at 10 o'clock your time zone, it ended 10 o'clock mountain time zone. You know, it's
probably be Danny, right? Like, she's on the other side of the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I appointed Danny to tell me when it ended at that specific time, and she's fired and has negative demerits, and I moved her back to level 1 for her incompetence.
No, see, what we just keep going until it's like 15 minutes after what time Danny started it. So we say it went from 10:15 to 10:30, and that's 15. And it was a 24-hour chat.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do now. Now that we've gotten it to this point, there's like 2 people sitting watching us right now too, like 2 random people that are just tuned in, like watching the video at 2 o'clock.
That's 2 people. That's 2 people that fell asleep on their keyboard. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, totally. So, I'm going to take just this 5 minutes and make this the video for it. This is what's going to go in the library.
Life in the Arcanum.
Yes, Life in the Arcanum and House Lark. And this is why you should and should not apply to be in my cohort. So here's the deal. Like, now that we've got it, like, now I just want to make it really long. So you're not allowed to leave here until you find somebody else to replace you. So there's always a minimum of 3 to 4 people talking nonsensically. Like, you just have to have somebody tag in for you before you can go. Or you have to write a really excellent sign and put it up in front of your camera that says something amazing while you're gone, and then you can just turn off your mic. Like, you know, like, Pasty White Boy will be back in T-10. Eat well, spend less. Yes, because I need more things to make innuendos out of. Don't you feel educated and properly mentored? Isn't this worth the price of admission right here? I feel
I'm done. Still on my 30-day trial. There hasn't been a price.
I know, that's why it's been worth it.
Right?
You're right. You're like, yeah, totally. It's been absolutely worth everything I've invested in it. In 12 days, I may change my mind.
Oh, we got Trey in here now?
Oh,
he's kicking us out.
You heard me. I told you he's probably one of the ones that was watching. Oh, no. Hi, Trey.
How's it going, Trey?
The scolding won't be tomorrow. It'll be public and now.
Look, just smile very naturally at the camera and tell him how much you're learning right now.
So much.
So much.
Is everyone having fun?
We are being massively educational right now in our live hangout. That's are we on hour 4 yet? I think we might be. We're at 1:30, so to be fair, I would like you to know it's all Ron Clifford's fault.
Yeah, Ron is
that
evil.
David does a very good impression of a polar bear in Alaska.
I see.
It's true.
We had Ron Clifford and AD in here too, so it was partially their fault. They just took us down the train, and then they jumped off and left us to just crash on our own. It was very irresponsible of them.
Sounds like something they would do.
Where are you at right now? Are you in Thailand?
I am. I'm at this. It's hard to explain. I'm at a recording studio called Karma Sound Studios.
Nice.
And this is a place where bands from all over the world, they come here and like to have a little retreat and write songs and hang out. And so I'll show you.
So
this
like
is sort of like the entranceway here.
It's like where we were in Wyoming, but in Thailand.
Yeah, this is like a little. It's like a Bond. If James Bond were to record music, this is where he would do it. I don't record music, by the way. I'm not a musical bone in my body. But every morning I go out over there in the grass and do yoga. That's kind of my balcony right up there. And then over here is the recording studio, and there's all kinds of bands always coming in and out of here. In fact, there's this all-girl Thai band that's in there practicing their dance moves right now. We'll see if we can peek in the window.
Yeah.
But I've just been taking photos and processing photos and hanging out.
Very cool.
Sounds rough.
You can't really see. You can't really see in there. If it was nighttime, you could, but I guess you're just seeing a reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is everyone doing okay?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
we're doing good. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning?
No. What were you saying?
All good things. All good things. We were talking about the fact that initially when I started this, it was just going to be like a Google Hangout with a couple of the other masters and what our thoughts were on business and marketing, but that was 3.5 hours ago, and how this might not work as a library video because I have slightly exceeded the 5-minute suggested time limit.
Oh, all right. This is being recorded, is it? That's okay. You can go over 5 minutes. Did you guys come to any great conclusions about business and marketing and photography?
Yeah, the first hour of it was spot on. We're just, at this point, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're a little bit delirious, I think.
It is late there, isn't it?
Yeah. What time is it there for you?
It is 12:35 p.m., just past noon.
Nice. All right, so apprentices, make me look good and actually tell him something you learned. Something you're taking away that's of value.
Okay, well, Jess told us the story about how everybody has constantly been like naysaying you and telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't give away things for free and whatnot, and that you basically tried to put all these roadblocks in your way, and because you were passionate and driven about what you wanted to do, you followed your own path, and because you followed that path, that's what made you successful, not because you followed what other people were telling you you could or couldn't do with your roadblocks.
Well, that's very true. And I can go and abstract that even further, because I do watch other photographers, of course. I'm sort of in the mix. You know, it's a bit of a tempest in a teapot. But I do notice that photographers spend a tremendous amount of energy trying to impress other photographers within the industry. Really, you know, your audience is always outside of your peer group. Now, if you've got a few close friends like you guys have in these cohorts, that's a different matter. That's a nice small group of people that are working together. But I still notice, and actually, this happens in every single industry. Like Jessica and I spent the week with this Helen Fisher girl, who's one of the world's greatest anthropologists, and so I got up and I gave my little talk or whatever, and so did she. And then one of the things I said in my talk is that the same thing is that you know, people spend so much energy and time trying to impress other people within their industry. It's all just a waste of time. And she goes, you know what, you're right. I mean, anthropologists do that. All these anthropologists, they spend so much time trying to impress other anthropologists. And that's just one example. And all of that is completely wasted time. You should just work through your own creativity and just put it out there, and don't worry about what your peers think. If they happen to like it, that's awesome. But you'll probably make some enemies along the way. That's fine. That just makes life a little bit more interesting.
Yep.
By the way, Jessica, I got some good photos of you and Renee on the ranch. I haven't released any of them yet, but I'll send them out soon.
I got a couple of really good ones too. I'll send you just more some of the behind the scenes moments just for us.
Yeah.
All the things that you guys will be privy to when the time comes. That's awesome. So how long are you in Thailand for? Are you heading out soon?
I don't know. I still don't have my bag. My bag is still there.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, it was there at the ranch for a while. But you know who went to go pick it up, because there wasn't room in the chopper with me and the Kaplans in there, is after I got to the airport. Do you know who Eric Schmidt is? The chairman of Google? Mm. Well, he was also there, and he has a jet helicopter. So he flew over to Silvertip to pick it up for me, which was nice of him.
Aw.
Yeah.
It must be really nice when the head of Google will just go grab your bag for you.
Well, it was sort of an excuse. He's learning to fly a helicopter. That's his new hobby, is learning to fly. And so it was like a good mission for him. So I said, if you have to practice, you should just go pick up my bag. No, I didn't say that. It was the same. Our pilot is also teaching Eric to fly a helicopter. So I said, I'm going out with Eric later. We'll just fly over here and pick it up.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Dig it. That's awesome. Yeah, that was my post too, the first shot in the helicopter, because you were like, oh, well, you can take a carriage to get here and horses, and then you were like, no, don't worry about it. I'll just send the helicopter. And I'm like, I don't even have people send me cars, and you're sending me a helicopter. Like, this is the coolest job ever. This is why you should be a master in the Arcanum. Because Trey Ratcliffe will just send you a helicopter.
No, I think Robin had fun in there too. So did Curtis. It sounds like you guys got
everybody had class.
You got to fly over to some other mine or something.
We did when we flew in. The pilot that we had didn't know how to get there because it was so remote and it's not as well known, because you always find the coolest places ever. And so he had to actually fly to the platinum mines and then switch with one of the other pilots so that pilot could fly us there, because he didn't know how to get there. So we got like an extra 15-20 minutes of flight time and just pictures. Like it was really, really cool. It was.
Very cool.
So yeah, we had a good time. Renee and I were chattering back and forth. We were having a good time. Afterwards, she was sending me some of the photos that she got in landscape and stuff. But we both agree, like, we take beautiful pictures of women, but then we get intimidated when we start playing with landscape photos because we know you're going to see them, and we feel a little out of our league.
I don't judge. Don't worry about that. Hello. Well, team, as long as I'm here, can I answer any of the questions for you or do anything for you?
There you guys go. So, actually, Trey, I have a couple of questions. I think if I get them started, then they'll jump with them. What, a lot of the people in here, like, they play.
I don't have too long, by the way. I only have about 6 or 7 minutes, but I can try to answer a few.
Okay. Well, we have a couple of people in here that are very avid into landscape and other genres, but they're concerned that they cannot use that as a way to make income. So being one of the head landscaper guys, do you have any advice for how they would get started in that?
Yes, maybe. Well, I always give this advice, and no one ever listens to it. I think it's because it's the advice they don't want to hear. But the advice is to maybe not make money with landscape photography. The thing is that photographers, they tend to be very intelligent, cerebral people that can do a great many things. And there's not this there's no engraved saying in marble somewhere that says you've got to do what you love to make money. Okay. The thing is that in this world, you can do many, many different things. Like I guess in my parents' or grandparents' generation, you just kind of like did one thing, and that was like your thing, maybe. But nowadays, you can do 5 different things. And if you have enough energy and you're curious enough, you can do them all pretty well.
Yep.
Uh-oh, did we lose him?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
It was
Like
just
that
saying it's nothing worth hearing, right?
Yeah. We were going down a really bad path, and then Trey jumped in to save us, to give us excellent advice, and then it cut out. But wait, because the really important thing is...
No matter what you do, the most important thing is...
For the internet to crap out right now.
The entirety of your day. What?
There you is.
I just made this amazing speech.
I know. You were like, the most important thing is, and then we lost you. So I think we lost you at you can do 5 things.
All right. Okay. Well, I was kind of I don't know where I was at that point. But I'll try to sum it up like this. Is that I think that people should do maybe one thing for money, or people can do some things for money, some things for love, and sometimes there's some sort of a mixture thereof. All right. Now, if you're not getting...
Really?
Just
Man.
there you go. Oh, man.
Like that. Okay. Is this clear? Loud and clear so far?
Yeah,
You're
go ahead.
chopping
Hear me,
in and
Jessica?
out.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, I think that people should do maybe one thing for money, other things for love, and every now and then you can have some nice mixture of the two, although it's rare. So, photography does not take 14 hours a day. In fact, I used to have a regular job when I first got started with Stuck in Customs. And I would just go out and shoot on the weekends or at night or in the morning. Photography doesn't take that long. Now, if you have like a proper business like you do, Jessica, where you have clients and you're producing books and you have accounting, then it does take a tremendous amount of time. But if you're kind of like, I hate to say just a landscape photographer, you don't really have to deal with all these clients and that kind of stuff. So it's just, you don't really have to spend your entire day doing photography. And so you have plenty of other waking hours to use that clever mind of yours to make money. And so if you can maybe, find some way to make money so that you can keep the art totally pure, then that's awesome. Otherwise, you can find yourself making really bad decisions with your photography if you're depending on it to be your sole income. There's this violent collision of money and art, and unless they flow together smoothly, it can cause a lot of problems with the art, I find. Anyway, I guess that's my advice, is to do several things in this life, right? You don't want to be like just a photographer, do you? You want to do lots of different things. Because there's so many things you can do nowadays. You can actually become pretty good at 3, 4, 5 things. And hopefully these things keep changing every decade of your life. Hopefully you're this ever-flowing river. And you should get used to like this discomfort, the idea that you never know where you're going to make money. I have no idea how I'm going to make money in 2025. I don't think anybody does. This kind of predicting how you might be able to make money and live your life in the future, this is a fallacy, ever and growing fallacy. It's certainly not like 50 or 60 years ago. So you kind of have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, not knowing, and just keep learning like 5 different disciplines And you can be a little strategic about it, saying like, oh, well, maybe these 2 disciplines I could actually make some money out of, and these 3 disciplines I have no idea how I'll make money out of them, but I'm really into them. So anyway, you got to keep a lot of irons in the fire, just try a lot of things. There's certainly no silver bullet, and if you notice one thing, that we sell lots of stuff on Stuck in Customs or whatever, with videos and presets and all this kind of stuff. One thing I do not sell is like how to get rich in photography. I don't sell any business books. I don't write any ebooks. Like, here's how you can make money. We don't do any videos because I don't even want to think about that kind of stuff, because I think that in some ways that's almost it just goes so violently against the art, and my thoughts on it are such a complex bouquet that it's hard for me to narrow down into something that's even tangible. Anyway, there's a few loose thoughts on it.
Very cool. Guys, any more questions before he heads out?
Yeah.
I do want to
He doesn't have the
ask.
stamina to hang with us for 4 hours.
Well, I wanted to ask, for you, what are the most inspiring things that you have found in your life, just as a person? I mean, it doesn't even have to be as a photographer. What are the things that you hold on to that have really inspired you and shaped you as a person? That as you walk around as a human being in the earth, like.
Yeah. Well, let me
Good
see.
question.
I've got, actually, I'll give you my reading list. Books. I read a lot. And let me see if I can find it here. On my blog. Reading list. I have to search for this one forever. I think it's not totally up to date at all. I think it's pretty new. Let's see here. Well, I'll find it at some point and send it to Jessica, and she'll share it with you guys. But yeah, basically, I read a lot of books, and none of them have to do with photography. All about genetics or anthropology or sciences or meditation, some fiction books as well. But I find that actually reading all these things that have nothing to do with photography, you can actually synthesize a lot of these truths into the life of your photography. And these books are not totally unapproachable. They're written for the layperson. I mean, I know I say, like, I read a book on genetics. That sounds really scary. I couldn't actually build a DNA molecule. These books are, they're understandable to like regular people. But I find that's really inspiring because we're all photographers here, right? And we walk around the real world and we see something really cool, right? We see like some beautiful truth, like in the shape of a shadow or in the way light is hitting something, or like the richness of the colors and a certain texture. And then you think to yourself, wow, 20 years ago I never would have seen this. And it's like when you're a photographer, you kind of have access to this whole secret world that no one else sees. And you think, I don't even know what I did before I was a photographer. I would just blithely shamble around through life and not see all these awesome things around me. It's like there's a secret world that's unveiled to you as soon as you're a photographer. But it's kind of that way with every other subject. Even Jessica can tell you we went on these nature walks with this biologist in Silvertip. And, we just walk across the grass, or, our foot kicks little clovers, there's little flowers, or what, but we actually don't even think about it. We just think, okay, that's just kind of grassy stuff that we're walking on. But then, I've spent probably, 40 or 50 hours with this guy. I've read all these books. So now when I walk through grasses and I see flowers and plants, I see something that other people don't see. Doesn't make me better or anything, but it's just like, you do this stuff not so that you become interesting to other people, but so that you become interesting to yourself. Anyway, I'll give you this reading list.
Trey, where you are now, and with people now coming into the Arcanum from a variety of paths, but everybody's starting at level 0. What is the best piece of advice that you have for people that are at the opposite end of the Arcanum from where you are at level Z?
Oh, the level Z doesn't really mean anything, by the way. I didn't know what to level myself. I'm not really. Well, I guess my the big advice is just to I think there's sort of this secret thing, right? That I do believe in sort of this multiverse. That whenever you make a decision in life, you don't actually make the decision. That both decisions are made, and you actually spawn two parallel universes with every single decision. And actually, every one of these things actually happens, right? You know how this works.
Like
well,
choosing
you
your
actually
path?
get to choose which of these futures you put your active consciousness into. So it's sort of this tremendous idea that you get to put yourself into whatever future you want to put yourself into. And so what we've done with the leveling structure in the Arcanum and the way that you build communities within the Arcanum, the way that your cohort, Jessica, is coming together, is that it presents you with a huge number of choices and possibilities and decisions. And it almost doesn't matter so much which decision you make, because you're going to be putting your active consciousness into a really awesome future. So it's really all about presenting you with a series of decisions, all of which are winner decisions, but you can even improve upon that a little bit more by concentrating and putting more and more energy into it. So I would just be super conscious of the decisions that you're making. Be very present. Think about how much energy you want to put into it, and you will actually be able to put yourself into this amazing future that you never would have envisioned beforehand, just by going through these little stepping stones that we've set up for you. So I guess it's my advice. It's just be fully present and really focus on the decisions you're making.
Awesome. I dig it.
Dig it.
All right, kids. I think
All right,
that
Tomas,
is
I gotta
a
go.
very good spot to end our 4.5-hour broadcast.
All right, guys. I will see you later. I'm going to pop out of here,
Thanks.
but I hope you guys have a
Thanks
nice
for
evening.
jumping in, Trey.
Have a
Yeah,
great
thanks.
night,
Enjoy
Trey.
this
Thank
together.
you.
Cool. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right, I'm out too, which means you guys are out.
Yeah.
Get out of my broadcast.
Bye.
All right, I love you guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. Get your stuff in so we can do more of this tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. See ya.